as I get there safe, like I really don't care. Like,
well, that's what submission is. That's what submission is that you
down that I think everybody is at some point deserving to receive love and to be even into marriage if they do aspire for marriage.
I believe that society shapes how we view things and how we look at things in our life.
Make your own bed. And that's basically what Kevin Samuels is saying. His delivery is what people kind of throws people off. But basically,
aggressive or like violent, like where I think toxic masculinity is
no offense to men, that they also get this idea that, you know, women are just going to take care of them and everything is going to be like easy.
A domestic violence shelter, and he brought her up to be, you know, a $25,000.
Hell yeah, you need to judge in dating. It is what it is. You know, you can't not judge people just because you feel bad about it. Like, you need to know.
As much as I love my daughter, there are some harsh realities and some things that her mother and I teach her in order to help her to understand.
Like, I'm sure everyone knows a woman that, you know, had special all the
What is going on, people? How you doing? My name is Clements. Welcome back to CKQ Podcast. I am your host. And do me a favor, if you haven't already, hit that like and subscribe button to this channel for more content like this. We go live every Tuesday at 8:30 p.m. Eastern. But without further ado, let's introduce our guest. We got Chris.
Hi. I hope you guys are doing well. I hope you enjoyed the holidays. My name is Chris. I have a channel called The Blooming Ebony. You can also find me on Instagram at The Blooming Ebony. And I hope that you enjoy the show.
Yay! I don't have the buttons, guys. I don't have the buttons. I'm sorry. And we got the doctor, John Renter himself.
What's happening, everybody? Welcome back to the CKQ Podcast. It's your co-host. I'm joking. I'm joking. I got to carry it away a little bit. I will be doing a part 2 of what I did last week. I've already cleared it with the boss, Clement, and look forward to seeing some comments coming out of the crowd once we start filling up, and I'm ready to get into the show. So, Clement, back to you.
Yay!
Where's your soundboard? I'm mad. I need a soundboard, bro.
I'm working off my laptop, so I gotta reorganize everything again. All right, I gotta do a lot. All right, but as for today, shout out to Madre in the comment sections. Greetings, shout out to you.
Hey,
how you doing?
Madre,
hello with the capital So, interesting topic. I want to talk about strong women specifically in the churches. All right, strong women, and that's what we're gonna go off of today. So, I have a video that we're going to respond to. Where is it? 1957. This video. Okay.
It was shot back in 1957.
No. Oh. The timestamp.
Oh. I knew that. I was just testing you. That's all.
Yeah, I believe it. Okay, give me 1 second, people. Okay. Let me stop that. Pop that up. Fair use. Let me know if you guys hear an echo.
If one of them grows up to gets married and has kids and stays at home and is what we think of when we think of a homemaker, or words will fail me, but if that's what she does, I will be incredibly encouraged by that. I think, man, that's fantastic. And likewise, and equally so, and I mean it when I say equally so, if one of them, advances through a corporation and leads the company, I would be so encouraged by that. And in Titus 2, verse 10, chapter 2, verse 10, it says that we're to work with excellence so that the teachings of Christ our Savior is attractive. And I don't think that's just a verse to men, it's women. Whatever you do professionally, I hope you're amazing at it, so that whenever a promotion comes about, that your boss or supervisor, who may also be a woman, is choosing someone that you're the clear and obvious choice. That, hey, this is who should be promoted. Like that, I hope all of you, everyone listening, is the hardest working employee for the glory of God, both men and women, that would be true. So I just, just to clarify that, insert that there.
Okay, so I want to actually say right now too, that sometimes, I would say most of the time, that we're thinking that we're limited, or we're thinking we need to sit on our gifts, or we're thinking we can't do the thing that God.
So my question following that is a woman's value determined by whether she can have a child or not?
Oh, you went there.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You did that. You just said that. You threw a curveball right off the. I mean, that was a no look. That was a knuckleball, boy.
Is it? I thought that was pretty light. It was a little lob,
It was. It's not. I mean, it's a fairly simple question to answer.
All right, go for it.
I believe that if she can't have a baby, she ain't no damn woman. She got titties for no reason, right? And her breath stink and her booty stink too. That's what I'm saying. On Bible, on God, on Jesus. I'm joking. All right, so no, there's women who can't have babies, and I'm assuming that's what you're talking about. Or
no. I'm talking about the ones that willingly choose to go around like the career route, like, or I guess they never prioritize a family. So they do not, they now, like what pretty much is essentially what he said. I'll be equally proud if one daughter becomes a homemaker and she goes that route versus one daughter becomes a high-powered law firm. And let's assume that high-powered law firm one never got married and probably never had kids.
Okay, so cool. That's awesome. So here we go. If it's my daughters, I'm proud as hell. If it's a woman out there that I'm looking to choose between, Sally Homemaker is gonna win. I'm not gonna find any value in the woman that's a powerful attorney at all, because I'm not. How does that benefit me in my role? It doesn't. Because I know my role. I'm gonna move in my purpose. She's moving in my purpose with me. I don't need that. There's two men in that house. So
what about your daughter? It's not your daughter.
I'll have that conversation with my daughter, but at the end of the day, it's her life. And I can't, I'm not gonna force my daughter to go and focus on having babies if that's what she does not want to do for whatever reason that is. But if I'm out choosing for a woman who wants to be a mother and a wife versus a woman who wants to be the best damn DA, eventually attorney general ever in the history of time, I ain't got time for that, because she ain't got time for me. See, you can't do certain things. You can't move certain ways. You have to look at the bigger picture. This is not, the question seems simplistic in your presentation. However, the answer to that question is quite complicated. And it's going to depend. If a man accepts that, then what about that man? Is he comfortable with himself? Is he moving in his purpose truly? And I'm not talking about, I'm not speaking on the outskirts of the bell. I'm speaking on the middle part. I'm speaking on the average. How does he feel about himself? Is he living vicariously through you? And then how does that woman respond to him? Is he simply going to be the wife now? Because she's not, and I repeat, she is not that, I've been a high performer. And I know the time it takes to perform at a high level and the sacrifices that the person at home is going to have to make. Now, if you're a man and you're comfortable to do that, my hat goes off to you. But if you're looking, it depends on the person who she pairs up with. She may pair up with a man who never wants kids, despises kids.
Mm-hmm.
And he's.
Let's be real. The majority of men are going to
want kids.
Are going to want kids. The majority of men are going to want kids.
Are going to want kids. Now, here's the thing, though. Here's my other thing. Well, let's say he's a man and he's also aspiring to do these things called a power couple.
Okay.
When do you have time for your relationship, power couple? When do y'all date? When do y'all not drag each other to functions that the other one don't want to be there? They just shaking hands and kissing babies because it's what you need them to do.
Yeah. Well, let's get Chris in on the action. Chris, is a woman's value determined by whether she can have children or not?
No, it's not. It's more so depends on what she does. Like, I don't think that every woman is meant to be a mom by any means. Like, I think some women are not meant to be mothers. I do think that there is a place in society for women that don't have kids. These women can be great teachers. They can be great role models. With the extra time, with them not having their own children, maybe they're able to contribute to the community in a way that they couldn't have otherwise. So I think obviously it depends, right? Hey, Carl, it depends on what they're doing. If they're a follower of the Lord and they're not married, they don't have kids, but they're sleeping around, obviously that's a problem. But I think if they're, depending on their lifestyle, I think there is a way to be valuable to society, even though you don't have children. And for some people, not having them is a good choice.
Mm-hmm. Is a man's value determined by whether he could provide? So our as people, do we have determined values?
Do we have what?
Determined values. Like, are we valued based upon whether we can do this? And if we cannot do that, then we hold the less value.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would definitely agree with that.
Okay. So for a man, what's a man's value?
If he can't get Michelle Obama, then he got to deal with that rugrat around the way. meaning, if he can't get what he needs, he's going to settle for what he wants. Which means, like, the average guy, when he goes to the club, he ain't marrying none of them chicks in the club, but he settles for them because the type of woman that he wants to get with is not available. She doesn't go to clubs. So it's like an oxymoron. Why do you put up with something that you know you're not going to keep, you're not going to marry? Why do you settle?
You lost me, buddy. I don't know if you answered.
Maybe I didn't understand the question.
I don't think he answered the question, but I understand what the point he made is just, it just don't go with the question. That's all.
Okay, my bad.
I understood the question. Or maybe I don't think Carl heard the question completely. That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah. Okay. So, well, I mean, now instead of just that one down there, what is a man's value? What is a man valued upon? How about that? Let's ask that.
What is valued upon?
Yeah, like what is a man valued upon?
What does a man continue valuable to him?
Not to himself, but to the world.
What does society deem valuable?
To society, to women, to the
Like,
world.
that's a good man versus this a piece of shit dude.
Okay. All right. Freedom, definitely, and money.
Okay.
And
so
control.
A homeless man is free, and he also collects change. So he's got both.
Right.
So is he valuable?
He's valuable, but there's one thing missing: control.
Explain.
He cannot control. He can only control what society allows him to control. If he's on the street.
Oh. Yeah, I'm with you, Carl. I knew that's
what
was wrong with that.
It's control.
That was deep. That was a deep ass answer. Yeah,
Mhm.
Sit back in your seat on that one, Mr. Clement. Yeah, he set your ass down then.
Let him finish. Let him finish.
No, I'm saying money, like you said, he does collect change. Yes, he does have freedom, but the control of his destiny, he think he has it, but he doesn't, because the general public around him, that little tent that he built, he can leave and come back and it's gone because Department of Sanitation said it's a risk, so they tore it down. Police come by and navigate him somewhere else. I mean, you know what I'm saying? He doesn't have full control over his destiny, his life, or his surroundings, because the general public around him, they the ones that control if he lives or dies, if he gets change or not, if they feed him or not, or if they let him stay there or not. So he doesn't have control.
But it doesn't mean that he's less valuable, because there is a docuseries.
Yeah.
There were several women who marry homeless men and they live great lives now. And what she did, she came in and provided that control, then to give him the keys to the car and let him become the man of the house, and they flourished.
Yeah.
This man homeless on the street, he got control of his environment because he had help, and then he became the man that he could have always been. But for whatever reason, I forgot one of them. I think it was catastrophic what happened to him, and wasn't nobody prepared for that. That's how he ended up being homeless. But he wasn't mentally ill or anything like that, and she cleaned him up, took him in like a stray, cleaned him up, and ended up marrying him.
Do men and women provide the same value?
Sometimes depends on their environment, because if you take a guy, that's going back, segue from what I just said about control. When you get into, let's say, in a jail environment, you have no control. And that's the time where both men and women don't have a choice but to relinquish that control.
You don't have freedom either at that point.
Huh?
You don't have freedom either.
You don't have freedoms. You see what I'm saying? So there's trade-offs. It depends on your environment. But when you're out here in a world...
In the jail aspect, you don't have freedom.
Correct.
I mean, I think
there's a lot of delusional people that think they have control even behind the wall. They can pay bills from behind the wall. They can still be fathers behind the wall, mothers behind the wall. So I'm saying that as a segue only because the three things that I'm going to stick by is money, control, and freedom. There are a lot of variations that you're going to get 2 out of 3 or 1 out of 3. You understand? And everybody's response to it is going to be different based on their upbringing, based on what they know. Remember, a lot of people are moving with what they don't know.
Okay. So money, freedom, control.
Right. Those are the 3 things on both ends, men and women.
For men and women. So
yes.
for a woman, she has money, freedom, and control. She has it all.
But the difference between men and women on that one part is women, if we say the modern women or today's women, They are looking for money, but they're more looking at security than money. Remember, security is a broad, vague thing because it doesn't have to be money that they're talking about. They're just looking for security. That means I can look to the left, look to the right, and say I'm good, confidently. A lot of women are struggling and fighting with that, to be able to say, I'm okay. A lot of people live in delusional. They say they're okay, but they're not.
That's true. I agree with that. I think we live in a world where you don't really want to accept your situation. It's hard to accept your situation sometimes because then you have to accept that you're weak. That you're not.
The vulnerability. And remember now, we have adapted since the 90s an acceptable new behavior, fake it till you make it. That became acceptable. So even if I'm broke, I'm going to put on a facade that I'm good, even though I can't even pay my light bill. But you'll never know because my hair's done, my nails are done, I talk a certain way, but I'm broke. I'm doing bad.
Okay. Anything else to drop? I want to finish out the clip.
Hey.
No? Okay. Cool. Carl, is a woman's value determined by whether she can have children or not?
Yes, definitely. Because you got to remember something, a woman going through life not having kids, not able to have kids, remember, choice and option is one thing. If a woman go through 30, 40 years of her life and choose not to have children for whatever reason, as opposed to that choice being taken away, modified, or not even possible from birth. That hurts because the extension of a woman is being able to have children. A woman not able to breastfeed, a woman not able to have children, a woman not.
So I'm talking about the woman that chooses not to. Is her value determined by whether she can have kids or not?
From a male standpoint, yes, because he's looking for offspring and legacy. But to a woman, yes too, because like I said, she's looking to say, I can fulfill. You get what I'm saying? If you cannot fulfill, then you're gonna feel empty inside. You know, there's women that have committed suicide behind that. Everybody has that one aunt or godmother that never had kids, always dated, always been around men, but never been married and never had kids, and it hurts. It hurts.
Do you think? Chris, what are your thoughts on that?
On what Carl just said?
Mm-hmm.
I don't really know. I agree at the end. You know, a lot of women, some women don't make the decision to not do it. They just they get so stuck in following their career that they don't even consider becoming moms. And then when they do consider it, it's too late, and those women become depressed. I think there's a small percentage, but I think there are some women that decide early on that they're just not made for motherhood. They just don't have that in them, and I think that's okay, depending on what they do with that time, right? The lifestyles that they live. But yeah, I think it's true. I think women just have to sit down and think about if they were married to the man that they want, right? Would you want to have kids with that man? And if the answer to that question is yes, you do want children and you do need to reprioritize. If the answer to that question is still no, you still can't picture yourself as a mom, then maybe you don't want kids. I think the issue is women think I'm okay being single, and while I'm single, I can't have kids, so I just don't want them. But it's like, no, you just can't have them because you don't have a man to have them with. But if you had the option, you would take it. And they don't think about that because it hurts to think about what you don't have, because no one has picked you yet. No one has chosen you yet.
Correct.
Because you don't have the opportunity. So.
And I'm just to piggyback. It also goes to not. You got to remember something, that this is just my observation. A lot of black women since 90, I would say 92, 93, a lot of black women don't have long-term thinking capability. They don't think past this week or this month, because the idea
is
the idea of the average 25, 30-year-old woman, not even, between 20 and 30, the average woman planning out, and like, you know, how you get up in the morning, you have your day planned out of what you're going to do, how you're going to do it, and contingency. A lot of women don't think in that capacity when it comes to their life. So the 25-year-old is saying, I'm single, I'm free, I don't have no kids, I can do what I want to do. And you're having so much fun or so many distractions that before you know it, I call it new edition. 20 years go by real quick, and you wake up and say, damn, what you got to show for what you are doing, or what you have been doing. And now it hurts because you're not qualified. Like she said, you're not getting picked. You get what I'm saying? Your expired milk, whatever, you know? So yeah, it hurts.
I think there's an issue too with delayed adulthood. I think there's a lot of women that are allergic to responsibility.
Oh,
and
yes.
the idea of getting married, which takes work, right? And the idea of having children, which takes work, is not attractive to them, simply because I think they're just so much they're in such a selfish mindset for so
conditioning,
long.
yes.
That mindset should end at around like 18, 20. And at some point you should be thinking, okay, how else what can I sacrifice? Like, what can I give back to the world instead of what can I take? And I don't think women today hit that point until they're like 35, whereas I feel like they used to when they were like 20, 22, 25 even. But adulthood has just been delayed so much, where women don't actually get their bearings on life until much later, like until their 30s. And I think
when they do get past that. Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, let her finish.
I think back to so my mom had 4 kids by the time she was my age, which is like ridiculous, right? And she was like an adult. Like, she was all in. And I think to women that my own friends even that are in their 30s and their 40s, and I try to compare the two, and it's like they don't even know how to date. They don't know how to talk to a man. They have no idea. And it's just they didn't use that valuable time in their late teens and their 20s to practice these things, because they put it off basically being in school for another 18 years. Like, they literally got out of college and they just went right back into school, which now they get paid for it. But it's like they're right back into their commitment that's taking so much time away from interpersonal commitments. And it's very sad to see, because even though you think that you have time, your body does not have that time.
That's why I was sorry to interject, but that's what I was saying, is that a lot of these women are being pegged in the ear by other women. Girl, you got time. You don't need to worry about that now. You got time. You can wait. And a lot of people today think they have a lot of time until 40s hit, 50s hit, and now you realize you don't have time. So what do you see? You see them now acting like they're 25. You get what I'm saying? Now they're trying to recapture what is gone. This is why you see the men and women, and I'm definitely going after the men on this one after the video I saw, where here's a guy 45, 55 years old, and he purposely cuts his hair off right here, gets some other hair stuck to it on glue, then shaped up to look like, and dyed to look like he's 25 again. You understand? All because you did not take seriously your future when you was younger. You didn't plan it. You didn't stick to nothing. You was too busy distracted or having fun. Either way, you didn't prepare yourself. And I think a lot of people now are being taught and conditioned that getting older is a bad thing. So they're not prepared for it. They don't want to see it. And they're quick. Most people 25, 30 is quick to call somebody old, but don't realize that's the goal, man. What's the goal? Just to be 30 forever? No.
21. It's called Forever 21. Come on, man.
Man.
All right. let's hop into this video. That was good. Actually, you know what? Whoops. Where was that next part? 27:17.
I feel sorry for a lot of people, man, because when they get past 35, 40, man, whew.
Oops, wrong video. Here we go. All right. 27:17. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. 27:17.
That's 27:28.
We'll go 16. Close enough. All right. Do a little. Man, it's kind of hard to do all this off of one laptop. That's kind of crazy. I'm struggling here.
Now you know how I feel.
2 monitors like spoiled me, man. This one whole screen, like this is crazy. Anarchy.
Yeah.
Just a heads up on this. I'm gonna mention the S word. Okay.
What S word?
So what does submission look like, or what
Okay.
does submission mean?
Yeah, that word to me.
That's
Oh, okay. So here's the thing about that word.
Tell us the thing
I'll
about
tell you
that
the
word.
thing. I'm going to say something that you're probably not expecting. It's one of my favorite words. It is the greatest protection in my life. As a strong woman who is doing her best to please God, who is trying to raise 4 kids and not screw them up, I like you. I love them. I don't care if you follow Christ nearly as much as I care that my kids follow Christ. So I don't want to sacrifice my kids on an altar of ministry. I don't want to be responsible for all the decisions of, do I take this speaking event, or do I, what do I do with all these different things? I love submission. Submission protects me all the time. So there's, I bring things to Zach and I say, hey, what do you think? And then he decides. And then he's accountable before God. It's going to be awesome. I can't wait. Jenny, you shouldn't have done this. His fault. And I believe
He's gonna say,
that.
but the woman you gave me.
Yeah.
Heard that. I read that somewhere.
But I tell you what, like I also know, I talk to women all over the world that word has been used like a pistol to their heads.
Mm.
It has been used where they feel threatened all the time, where they don't feel safe in their relationships. They don't feel safe with men. They don't feel safe with their dads. They don't feel safe with their boyfriends. They don't feel safe with their husbands. I hear this story all the time. So the fact that that word has a bad rap makes sense to me.
Yeah.
It makes sense to me because here's the problem, guys. We're divided, but there's reasons on it for both sides, right? Where men have used submission as control.
Can I say something here? I want to ask you guys a question. So not rhetorical. Let me ask you a question. According to the Bible, should women submit to men?
All I can say is education is needed, man. Education is so important because it's funny how that word submit or submission, the only time, like she said, it's a trigger word is when it comes from a man in a relationship, spectrum. But we don't have a problem with the word submit when it comes down to, hey, Doc, you got to submit that paper by Friday. Or, hey, Chris, you have to submit those documents in so you can get your paycheck next week. Yeah, we don't have a problem with these words, submit, when it benefits us in a spectrum outside of a relationships type, surrounding. But when a man is saying that word to a woman, like she said, it's a bad rap trigger word. And I don't understand why, because I don't like the word submission. I prefer the word cooperation because I know the difference. That's why I say education is necessary. Submit has no input. Cooperation does.
Go ahead.
So, to answer that question that he asked on the video, you submit one to another. That's the answer.
Is a man supposed to submit to a woman?
And yeah, it's vice versa. Both of y'all submit to the Lord. But
it was actually a trick one.
There was a trick one.
It was a trick one. No, women shouldn't submit to men. Women should submit to their husbands.
Oh, I got you.
Yeah, only their husbands.
Yeah, only their husbands. But
only their husbands.
When you're in that, but the word itself, I have never used it. I've never had the word. You know why?
That's why, to me, it's like, so you're seeing a woman there, and I don't know, maybe I'm just kind of naive to how marriages have been throughout years, but I think life in general was just hard for both men and women, right? But a lot of time it's women having to submit meant that they were silenced, they were beaten, they were this XYZ. And that's like the story perpetuated. Even this lady's saying the same thing. I've heard of so many women that have went through like their husbands or boyfriends just using that word submission to completely rule over them. And I'm just like, where are all these men just ruling over women and no one just kind of, I think men get put in place very quickly if they're kind of acting a certain way around a woman. But I mean,
that's bullshit, Clemens. That's total bullshit, because men wasn't using submission over our history. Remember, that word only became popular in the last 10, 20 years because modern women use that as a weapon. Get off me, I'm independent, I'm strong, I'm this, that's all. Other than that, if we look at our grandparents and before that, it was just respect. It was just courtesy. It wasn't no submit. It was just about respect and courtesy towards each other.
And see, that's the point. That's the whole point that I was going to make. I have never used that word submit. I move in my purpose, and she move. I don't have to say you going to submit. I don't say shit.
No.
She automatically. I assume the role of the leader.
That's it.
Fall in line.
Mm-hmm.
She just fall in line. But my personality dictates that, even with men. If I'm in a group of men, don't be surprised if you see me out front and they're on the sides and following, walking with me, and we're doing what I want to do. But I didn't say y'all fall in line, get in. No, I moved in my purpose amongst that group. I have established my dominance, or I've established myself as the expert on what we're doing. So they don't know, so they follow. When you do what you're supposed to do, people will follow you. You should not have to ask and raise your hand. Can I be the leader? Hey, look at me. Pick me. No, you just do it and establish yourself as the authority, and then you will move and people will follow. If you're a leader, leaders lead. Period. When you lead, that automatically gives way to once you establish yourself as authority, and your wife understands that, she sees that, she's gonna come to you. I want to do this. What do you think about it?
Doc, in the last 20 years, prior to the last 20 years, when did you ever hear men say, I'm a grown ass man? Because listen to what I'm saying. If you're a grown ass man, you don't have to announce it, you don't have to prove it, you don't have to explain it. You just do. This is you. People will recognize that and respect, and like I said, respect and courtesy go hand in hand. But if you have to constantly, I'm a man, I'm a grown up, then you're not, because you're spending more time trying to.
And you know you're not. You know that there's an insecurity there.
Exactly.
That you're trying to do this to.
Mask, cover up.
Yep. And that's why a lot of dudes are wearing hoodies today.
Don't come no close. I'm a grown ass man.
Yeah.
That's why when you see dude, it's just like when you deal a dude is in an altercation. The guy that's gonna hurt you and put you in the grave ain't said shit. He ain't open his mouth. He just waiting for you to do that thing that threatens him, and he gonna finish you. He ain't gonna talk about what he gonna do. He ain't gonna warn you about what he gonna do. He just gonna do it. But that dude over there, what it is, come? What you got? What you wanna do? I'm that dude, nigga. I'm crazy. That nigga so fucking scared that if you jumped at him, he'll run off.
I know this is a public forum, but I'm going to say it because you just gave me a flashback of what my dad told me. He said you can spot a grown man from a block away. And Chris, please tell me if you ever heard this before. He said a grown man you can spot by the way his shoulders are laying.
Yep.
If his arch is good, his shoulders is straight, his back and all of that, that tells you right there he's a grown man. Because grown men don't slouch. Grown men don't have curved spines.
Let me add a little onto that. I would say you could tell a mature man. Someone who's mature moves with a little bit more confidence. You could have a 60-year-old man that slouches his shoulders all the time. You know what I'm saying? Because that I think maturity comes with confidence as well. And when a confident, mature person doesn't slouch, they know their value. They know, listen, I'm not the best, but I know what I bring, and it is of value. Yeah. Chris, I'm unmuting a little while ago.
What did you say?
You were unmuting a little while ago. I thought you were going to say something.
Yeah. So I wanted to say submission. If a woman is afraid and her fear forces her to submit for whatever reason, if she's afraid that he's going to hit her, if she doesn't, whatever, that is not submission. That is coercion. It's not the same thing. If you are submitting, it's willing. You're willingly submitting to your husband's authority and superiority in whatever area that is, right? So he's not going to have authority over you in everything, right? He can't out-mother you, for example, right? If you tell him, don't do that with the baby, it's not good, he should most likely listen to you because he should trust you as a mother, right? But submission is simply accepting his authority, right? That's all it is. That's all it is. And I like that you emphasize the trick question, because unfortunately in the manosphere, they're spreading this idea that a woman has to submit to a man by the first date.
Yep.
And it's the weirdest thing. What they really mean is a woman should be feminine, right? Which she should be. When you're on a date with a man, hopefully your feminine energy is shining, but you're not supposed to submit to him, right? And also another thing too, what she said in the video was actually also incorrect, because she said, if my husband tells me to do something wrong, I can just, in front of God, I can just put it back on my husband. That's not true, because she's also supposed to be a follower of the Lord. And if your husband is encouraging you to do something that is against the Lord, you cannot follow him anymore. Because you are really what you're submitting to is the Lord,
the God,
through your husband. So if your husband deviates from that path, you cannot follow him anymore. And
I think that was the ultimate manipulation, if you ask me, because you just look to deflect it and put all blame on somebody else instead of taking responsibility yourself.
Think about how dangerous it would be if you just followed someone blindly. That is so incredibly dangerous. You have to also have a blueprint, because when you're submitting to someone, you're trusting that they have your best interest in mind, because they have this set of guidelines that you also have access to. If they're taking you away from what you know to be right and you follow them blindly, that's on you, because you're supposed to be doing your own studying, right? If you're not, that's on you. You can't blame him. Yeah, you can't be like, oh, he's the man. Well, you followed him. You also want to believe that you're smart. You also want to believe that you're intelligent. You're also a conscious human being in this relationship. If you follow him blindly, that falls on you. You cannot put that on him. And God's going to look at you like you're crazy. But
you slept with him. You had the baby by him. You lived with him. You let him move in. Yeah, you're just as culpable as he is. Mhm. I'm gonna be honest with you. And this is I'm not trying to attack nobody, but I just think a lot of people are ignorant, and that's because they're not taught interdependency. What y'all talking about now, it falls in line with interdependency. I don't think people are taught that. We knew that back in the day, prior to 30 years ago, but today I don't think people know what interdependency is, and that's why they have an issue with that word submit or submission instead of cooperating, because interdependency requires, just like Doc said, we depend on each other to make this work. Not everything falls on just one person. Hey, Meek Meek.
Hey, what's up, y'all? I'm so sorry.
Yo,
I'm so sorry. I'm so late.
No worries, no worries. I
working hard.
want to drop a question now to that video. All right. What standards are men or women held to in church and society?
Don't come to me first. I'll be right back.
I'm gonna strike out the first one and go with the second, because more people are following society and social media than they are a church. I think church are becoming extinct, if you ask me.
Okay. Chris, what you think?
From what I've heard, just from what I've heard, I think the church upholds the fact that men should be providers and leaders, but they don't really uphold the standards for the women in church. In society, I think it's reverse. I think that they don't acknowledge the standards of men because they think that's part of the patriarchy, but then they do have these really odd career-related, independence-related standards for women.
Mm-hmm.
Mm. Do you think that what standard should women be held to, in your opinion, then?
In church?
In church.
That they should be, well, there's a lot, right? It's just general biblical womanhood, right? So be sober, be sound of mind, like have sound of mind, have a temperate attitude, just calm down, right? Don't be angry all the time. Don't just be pleasant, right? Not supposed to overdrink.
Don't go in there looking like you just came out the club.
Yeah. Modesty is another one, which I don't think the reason, and I heard this, the reason because they want people to feel welcomed in the church. So they want people to come in as they are, which I understand, but it's important that for the people that have been going to church for a while to understand that modesty is important. So there's no like consistency. I can go on and on and on. Like I literally have a book on biblical womanhood and what the standards are supposed to be. Like there's, when it comes to mother, if you're a mother, there are certain standards. If you're a wife, there are certain standards. If you're a homemaker, there are certain standards, right? And homemaking and being a wife are not the same thing. I hear women say all the time, well, I cook and I clean and he still left me. Well, because you were taking care of the house, you weren't taking care of your husband. There's a difference, right? So depending on what your role is, your standards are different, but that's kind of like a general overview. Be pleasant, be temperate, be modest.
Don't wear stocking. What about wearing stockings?
If they want, if it's appropriate. You don't have to wear stockings to be modest. Your skirt goes down to your ankles. You don't necessarily have to wear stockings.
I'm just saying, because when I grew up in church, the women wore stockings. Now all of a sudden they come in there looking like they just came out the club, and the booties and the dresses and everything. It's just different.
So what do you think, Carl? What standards are men and women held to in church or society? Actually, you said it, right?
Well, I said I think church is going to become extinct because New York just passed a law that says, yo, Clement, do you know you can marry me and Chris? We don't have to go to church no more. You are capable of providing the ceremony and conducting the ceremony and marrying me and Chris or me and me. Yeah. You don't need a preacher. You don't need a church. You can actually get married in your living room by whoever's there.
But that's actually that's been you could just go to a website and get that.
Yeah, but now it's in the law.
I've been to weddings where, the person that was marrying them off got their certificate 10 days ago off website. It was by the power invested with me by blah.com. Yeah, it's I'm not too.
They're saying now, though, that you don't even need the certificate. That's my point.
In other words, you can stop a nigga on the street and say, hey, bro, can you marry me real quick?
Exactly. You don't need a certificate.
Real quick. We got it right here. We just need you to sign it where it says official or not, and then boom. Who's the official? Yeah. Me. Okay, cool.
Interesting.
And this is why I'm saying that church is going to become extinct, is because you having laws, mindsets, and this whole modern women movement, whatever. All of this is geared towards eliminating church.
I'll take more the family unit.
Yeah.
They destroying the family unit. They've been doing that.
Yeah.
Well, it's getting worse.
They've been under attack for 25 years now.
It's getting worse. So that's why I said I don't think
of the family unit, and it's only one group, the alphabet people, who are behind orchestrating all of this. That's where it started.
I don't think church is, like I said, church is going to become extinct, and everything that is derived of the Bible, people are ignoring. The building itself, the people that are how can I say, are left responsible to run it, deacons, pastors, ministers, and so on. We see the scams, we see all the crap. People are just detached, and it's like, we just gonna go by society, social media, and what's current. What is the operanda for the day? Okay, that's what we're gonna go by. Whatever you say we should be doing, that's what we're gonna do, or that's what we're gonna follow. We're not going back to our heritage. We're not going by no traditions. We're not. Fuck all of that. Fuck church. That's what
it's not even for me. It's not even about traditions or anything like that, bro. Everybody who follows that mindset has fucking major issues in their relationship. They have fucking major issues in who they choose to be with. They have major money issues, even though on social media. Don't let them niggas fool you, bro. Wait, the real statistics is out there. If 80% of the U.S. households live paycheck to paycheck, niggas, stop getting on social media because you ain't fooling nobody. 80% is damn near everybody. You understand me? And I ain't seeing your black ass on TV acting. So guess what? You fall right in line with it. Bitch, you married me. You was not balling like you had one. You feel me? You was broke as shit. And one of the reasons you got with me is out of convenience, and I'm not fucking stupid. You understand me? So like everybody who is talking about, I'm spiritual. I'm spiritual. Miss me with that. You gonna fall for everything, bro. Like everything that you need to get in through life, bro, is found in one book. It's found in the Bible, bro. And people who follow that, they don't have them same problems. And when they do run into problems, they go back to their book and they look in their playbook and they get the answers to those problems.
Bruh, you have a better chance getting people to read comments on social media than reading the actual book, much less the Bible. So if people ain't reading regular books, how you expect them to read the Bible?
They better listen to it or something.
Yeah.
They better listen to it or something, because all your answers are in there.
Do you think it's the church's job to make the Bible more appealing to the masses?
Yeah.
No.
That the whole job of the church is to help congregate people and get them to be like-minded and encouraging them. And, it's an open door policy. But like I said, we all know what we're doing Saturday and we all know what we're doing Sunday. Church ain't one of them.
for me, the church, the only job that the church has is to educate you. That's it. Because I'm not going to force you to do nothing at all. I'm going to educate you, and you're going to arrive at your own decision. You got
but if you're running a church, if you're the minister, deacon, and so forth, your responsibility is to have an open door policy and provide different ways to attract the masses to come learn, to come congregate in this safe space, to understand and comprehend what this is about. But if people are more into being up on Instagram Live at 5, 6 in the morning on Sunday, being naked and talking about sucking dick, then what do you expect?
No,
you understand?
When I used to preach, and I did, and ordain, okay.
Damn, this one I wish I had the buttons to stop the cat.
When I used to preach, what I was talking about attracted the masses. The way that I taught, it wouldn't be nothing for you to see a hooker in the back, people who was like on drugs, 2 or 3 homeless people, they don't wander in off the street. You understand? And and that's because the word of mouth was moving around, because I was basically chastising so-called Christians. Like I was on the phone with a woman today who was just judging the hell out of somebody. Like just being very judgmental and, oh, I couldn't be around anything like that. I couldn't do this. And I had to remind her that Jesus said that it's not the people who are well that needs a doctor. It is those who are sick that need a doctor. So if you can't mix it up with what you in your eyes call scum of the earth, then how you gonna be a disciple of God with your primary thing is to bring people closer to him? Everybody is a minister, not just the person who's ordained. Everybody who is his follower is also his minister.
Because that person looked at a church as a place to, it's like social media. It's a place to put up or project something that you're not. You know what I'm saying?
The divide right there, saying that we go to church, we're Christian, you're not.
Yeah.
That's a falsity. That's so false.
That is real. A lot of Christians actually do hold that view, especially the ones that grow up in church.
That's crazy.
That's what drove a lot of people away from church, actually, because they got tired of being around those type people that says you're not good enough.
The minister should have had some more control over that. You understand what I'm saying? Like the person that was the preacher, who was the leader of the church, he should have put his foot down, and he should have had a come to Jesus meeting in the church and letting them know. Bro, just because, listen, when it says you to be saved, believe that Jesus is the son of God. He died on the sins for our cross. He died on the cross for our sins. Repent, and you shall be saved. Right or wrong? I say you got to say 1,000 Hail Marys. He didn't say that. He did not say that. He did not say you have to go sit in a damn box and confess to a man. He didn't say that neither. He didn't say that. Neither did he say you had to go to church every Sunday. You go to church so you can learn, because you're supposed to be studying to find yourself approved, meaning that you study so that you know, therefore you can spot bullshit when bullshit faces you, and you can just avoid it.
Nah, we went to church just so people could see us in our fancy clothes and see us in a certain light. So, it was a place to be popular, just like junior high and elementary school. I came in with the new Jordans.
That came from slave masters. Jesus ain't never wore a damn suit one time in church. Jesus had his sandals on and his garment, and whoever you was at would stop and listen. That's when he would start teaching the most. One of the best teachers that ever walked the face of the earth. You understand?
What do you think would happen if black men start going to church with sandals and cloth made of wool and going to church today? What do you think would happen?
I think if it's an actual godly church with trying to actually teach the word, then they'll just be happy that they're there.
Yeah.
And that should be the whole idea. I mean, now, like you're saying, church has become a fashion show.
It has.
Some churches, but I mean, now there's a lot of churches that are actually becoming pretty liberal. A lot of gay pastors are popping up. A lot of women pastors are popping up.
That's not even a thing.
But they won't let a homeless man in there. They won't let somebody that come in there that smells a little bad. They won't. You get what I'm saying? Again, you have to fit.
If they agree with LGBT, yeah, they would.
They'll fit, but this is what I'm saying. Everybody will get along with LGBT because they see how powerful that is. Every business, every corporate, every commercial is including them because they're a powerful, space of people that you can't contend with. But let a homeless man that smells like he's been in the street for 2, 3, 4, 5 months walk into a church. They'll call the cops until I have him removed.
And that is what I'm talking about. And I wouldn't go to no church like that.
You know what I'm saying? So this is the worst. This is the worst oxymoron ever. You would accept an LGBT, but you're not going to accept a homeless man.
You're supposed to accept everybody. But here's the thing, man. Let's get something straight.
Only when it comes down to that.
Everybody, you understand what I'm telling you? But you have to be. There are certain guidelines for you ministering His word, and you cannot be sinning without no repentance. You don't plan on ever being forgiven. If you are gay and you want to preach, then that means that you have to break up with your lover and start a heterosexual life. Now, if you don't not going to do that, you can't preach. That's just period, point blank.
Nah, Doc, I don't care. I only want the people that's coming in with paper, not pennies, nickels, and dimes. Okay?
Sounds like a black church.
You understand? That homeless guy, he's going to put a couple of pennies, nickels, and dimes in that offering. We don't want them. We want the transit workers, the sanitation. We want the people that's going to drop paper in the offering, not the little quarters, nickels, and dimes. We have an image to uphold. Remember, no matter where we at, church or social media, wherever, it's all about image. You understand? Everybody's a representation of someone else. So guess what? Clement represents me. I represent Doc, and so on and so forth. So of course I have to keep up with that image, or I'll be, banned, canceled.
All right, in the church, are men held to standards?
Hell no.
Yeah, at least.
I know churches that's letting convicted rapists go, run around amongst them. Registered sex offenders run amongst the church, knowing they're a danger to women.
Nah.
So no.
That's man. Okay, so just like in the schools, we have separation of church and state. In the church,
alleged.
Church, like everybody is blended in. Like if I'm a cop, he done his time. Whatever he did back then, and he raped somebody. If he has done his time, he has made penance. I'm not going to stop that man, because that's not how this. God do not work like a judge. God don't work like society. That's not how they work. It only works where
God's the judge. We aren't the judges. God's the judge.
You understand?
God's the judge. We don't judge.
Because I mean, that man has got to be forgiven. I don't know why he raped that woman. I don't know. I wasn't there. I was not there, and I'm not going to call a victim saying that she wanted it or anything like this. I'm not going to do that either. But what I am saying is, if he went to prison and he got found guilty, he went to prison, he served his time. It is not my job to castigate this man for every time I sin. Now, notice I only used one example. I'm died daily and God's still working on me. The pedophile, Carl, on which I just can't.
It puts a congregation at risk.
Yeah.
It puts the congregation at risk because even though we're all religiously, we all religiously want to forgive and follow, God's word or whatever. The tendencies and the danger is still there. And I'll be damned if I'm going to let some guy that's convicted of rape in South Carolina and registered sex offender and convicted and did 4 years in New York for sex offender be in the same church as Chris or Unique. Why? Because that puts them in risk and danger.
I think it's God calls us not to judge. I think if
it's
you're
not
actually
judging, it's not. Y'all saying it's judging. It's not judging when you're trying to keep people safe.
Hear me out. It is judgment. If they've done their time, they came up to you trying to change their life. They're in church, and you're saying, "Nah, I can't really have you in church."
Mm-hmm.
Like I can't forgive that past that you did. I can't have you in church. I think it'll be different if he went there. They say, "Okay, we understand that you're trying to change your life. We accept you here, but you're still going to have rules you're going to have to follow. Like you can't be walking around by yourself. We're going to have some member of the congregation that moves around with you. You can't forever keep someone in a perpetual spot of your that blemish of you're tainted. You can never be better, especially if you're trying to be better." I think it was there was a story in the Bible that I think Jesus walked into a place and there was a prostitute there. She was there, and a lot of the men were just kind of like, what's she even doing in the same room as Jesus? Like, she shouldn't even be here. But she was so like graced by it, like happy to see that Jesus is here in my presence, that she was washing his feet with her tears and drying his feet with her own hair. And everyone was just like disgusted by her. Like, how dare you even do that? Whereas he was just like, wow, like, look, she has nothing, and yet she's still trying to show me the utmost respect and the utmost grace. Knowing her position in society already. Whereas all the humans, that's what we do. We want to judge. We want to give put our preconceived notions onto other people. And we like to hold them in that spot that we see them in. And I think it's very hard. I'm not saying I'm perfect or I'm beyond that, because I definitely am not. But it's very hard sometimes to take a step back and look past that. Try to walk like Jesus, try to walk like Christ did. And really look past our emotions a lot of the time.
Well, can I ask a question?
Yeah, of course.
Chris, Unique, how would y'all feel going to a church and finding out that pastor, deacon, minister, whatever, reverend, knew and kept to himself a member of the congregation being a registered sex offender and never took any precautions, contingencies, or even let you know? How would you feel about that church or that whole situation? You go to church every Sunday and come to find out 2-3 people in there are registered sex offenders. The minister, pastor, whatever, knew about it all along, but never told you and never, even took any precautions. How would you feel?
I'd probably just find a new church. If I was uncomfortable with it, I would just find a new church. But I understand why. Like, it's the same when you go into a street and you look in that list to see if there are any sex offenders near you, and there's a few living on your street. You either choose to buy the house or to not buy the house. But I'm not going to sit here and say that they shouldn't have been allowed to buy a house if they went to prison for something 10 years ago. Like, it's not really my place. I'm just gonna either go to a different church. If I find out, I'm gonna ask the pastor about it, and whatever he's able to tell me, because I'm sure he might have some type of confidentiality that he's probably following, I'll talk to him about it. But It's not my place.
Hold on, let Unique go real quick, John.
Well, I guess I don't even go to church, but if I did find out that, you know, I'm taking my children to this place and you want them to go to Sunday school and they're going to be taught and around my children and nobody told me, as a mother, hell yeah, I'll be pissed. Then there's the other side of what Chris was saying at the end of confidentiality and privacy and not being slammed with the, you know, a red harlot for the rest of your life. Like you can't move in, because some people get labeled and be on the sex offenders list and they really didn't do it. Some people, you know what I'm saying? But because as a mother, I don't know if you did it or not. Yes, I would be concerned. So both sides.
Go ahead, John. You're muted, by the way.
Listen, man. I'm gonna say this one more time. That nigga need to be in church. You understand me? Of all people who need to be, that nigga need to be in church, getting that word in him. You understand? And maybe he wouldn't have done what he did. Because you know what? What you think this nigga gonna do? Jump up and pull his dick out and rape 6 women in the fucking middle of church? No, he ain't gonna do that. What is he gonna do?
Don't have to be that. I know somebody who was 16 and joined the children's choir. The head of it was married, but yet had sex with her. Stuff like that. You be left alone. You be left alone with children. You be left alone when you are in a position where you do stuff like that.
Hold on.
And then they don't even have to be in charge.
It doesn't have to be the children.
The bathroom, and that they could be around the corner. You could just be going to the bathroom, and they could just come in there real quick. I'm just saying, you cannot turn your back to somebody who really did that shit.
It doesn't, and that's what I'm saying.
You don't know, but somebody who really did that shit, you can't even be in the house or have your children nowhere near that mug, because it only takes a split second.
So how do everybody work and live then? How the fuck does that happen? Because you got rapists that live right down the street from you, just don't fucking know it. Because only 40% of the fucking women report that shit. Rape is the one crime that you are most likely will get a fucking way with. Even though we got the latest technology and DNA, and it's really fucking easy to make the case, only 16% of women actually report it. When you went to that football, when you was in that club, it was probably 18 to 25 rapists in that motherfucker.
But my children wasn't there.
But John,
we're not talking about that. I'm talking about where my children is going.
John,
I don't care. But I'm talking about if my children is going in, hell yeah, I care. If he's gonna be in charge of shit, he's gonna be around and alone with my
pastor. Gonna put no rapists in charge of nothing.
That nigga has been there for 10 years and he proved himself. And
that's the point.
Slip up.
That's the point that I was making.
Nah, not with my children.
That's the point I was making, is that you have reverends, pastors, and so forth safe haven these guys. You understand? Allowing them to put, and like I said, it doesn't have to be little kids or teenagers. They're grooming little women, grown women. So here, Sister Chris, can I come by and we can sit down and discuss Mother Madeline and what happened with Joseph? And she's gonna be saying, sure, Christian brother, come on over. And next thing you know, bingo bango, right there in our own home. You understand? Some of them right there in the church. So it's not just the children, it's also other grown women, if they still have this mentality, predator mentality. The only thing that I'm talking about is the people that allow them to not only be present and move freely around the church, but they know about it and they don't speak about it or to the congregation or put women on notice. You understand what I'm saying? If I'm a pastor of a church, my obligation is to let women know, listen, there's a brother here with a little past, but this is the conditions that we put around it, but I figure, let me let you know. That's the right thing to do.
I want to give a shout out to I Am Only Buck. What's up?
Shout out to Uncle.
Uncle said everybody will kill that brother. It's different when you're in the club or when you're in the streets or whatever general public like that. But when you're in the sanctuary of a church,
you're right. There's no
come on
witnesses in the streets. You're right. There's no witnesses. It's dark as hell. There's no way you're probably gonna get caught, and nobody's gonna stop or intervene because you're on the streets, and I done caught your ass slipping in the dark ass alley. You're right. Nobody's gonna hear you screaming, "Help! Please get him off me." But in the church, they probably would. Come on, man.
I'm gonna segue something different. John, you having a family gathering at your house, and you invited Chris and Nico, right? Yep. But your friend Paul, you knew he's a registered offender. You knew he had rape 3 on his record, but you invited him over anyway. And you let him move freely amongst everybody in the family. Now, come on. You held accountable and responsible because you had no business letting that man be there in the presence of Neek and Chris. And if you did, bodyguards or certain things should have been in place to prevent anything from possibly happening, but you failed to do that. And that's my point. Too many reverends, pastors, ministers are allowing it and not doing nothing about it. They're not taking accountability.
You know,
and it's putting women at risk.
We talking about this. Can somebody give me the statistics on the amount of people that get raped in church versus everywhere?
But not only that, the amount of people that get assaulted in church by previously convicted offenders, because I'm sure there are a lot. Like you have to be aware of the pastors based on their history, right? So it's not just people that have been. So there should be conditions across the board, right? Don't let your daughter go and meet with a pastor on her own. Don't invite another brother from your church to your home when you live by yourself, when your husband's not. Like there are conditions that shit is just common sense. That it's not. Sometimes common sense isn't common. Sometimes these things.
It may be common sense to you, but when you're in an environment of a sanctuary church, vulnerability is down.
And any congregation that's trying to actually be about the word, the pastors are never meeting with women by themselves, or most of the time it's going to be an older woman of the church meeting with that younger woman. You're never going to have these two dynamics meeting by themselves. An older man with a younger woman.
How does a youth pastor have sex with a 16-year-old and you know what I'm saying? Because he's a youth pastor. He can meet with them. He can pick them up and take them places. He can do all that shit on his own. And they will trust him because he's the youth pastor. He's supposed to be
I'm saying
together. So
what I'm saying is any congregation that's actually worth trying to follow the word. Because most congregations that are actually about that, you're not going to find the lead pastor leading a group of young women by himself.
You have some though.
It's not happening like that. Well, most churches black churches aren't really about like really trying to do things the right way. They're about money and they're about clout.
Right.
And look.
And think about sorry, I thought you were done, Clement.
No, and real quick, and I just think like a lot of our views are tainted because of that. And when we think church, we think like the black church, and especially like the TD Jakes and people like that that aren't really a great representation.
The Catholic Church, we could think.
Let's look at our stats. Let's look at these numbers for real.
Real quick. Chris actually wanted to say something. Go ahead, Chris.
I just wanted to know, like, even the reasoning behind why people let their children or they do certain things is because they say, well, this person was a youth pastor, so automatically I trust them. instead of being like, this person is a man who can sin, who has temptation. And it's like, I'm not saying that the person involved is the one that should be held accountable, but what I'm saying is our logic itself is skewed, where we think that just because someone's in a leadership position at church that they are above all evil. They can trust the title as well. But that's the problem. You're not supposed to trust the title, right?
Exactly.
This is, you're sending your child with someone you don't know, and they're not being supervised. Like there are so many stories about like how traditionally weddings used to happen. They wouldn't even let the bride out of their sight because they didn't want her to be tainted before her wedding, right? Because they understood that was probably when it was more likely to happen. And it's like you protect vulnerabilities to the best of your ability. And obviously things slip out like through the cracks, but you have to think about your reason you have to think about how it even got to that point in the first place and try to prevent that. Stop trusting people because they have a title.
Well,
it does not mean that they are never going to sin, that they're never going to hurt you, that they're never going to hurt your children. And that's one thing I noticed about the Black churches is that they will just literally give, and I have family members that went through this. They literally just give their children away to somebody because this man is a part of the church, and they let these men mentor their kids and basically raise their children because they don't want to pay for a babysitter. The church is free, and they think this man is holy, and it's just absolutely ridiculous. So I think that mindset, I think, is one of the biggest parts of the problem. It's just trusting people mindlessly. Again, submitting blindly.
Yeah.
Use your just think. Use proper reasoning.
But it's not just children. I don't want us to just think that it's just children. It's also grown women that are getting approach rate, unless it's just the same as the kids. And I want to go back to a number here where, if you notice, in the last 15 years alone, most churches, Black or not, are surrounded by what? Majority of women. You got a handful of men in the average church. You understand what I'm saying? There's no more father, mother, and children going to church. It's mostly single mothers or single women or, ex-wives and so forth. So you have a congregation that is majority women. What do you think is going to happen when you got 5 guys and 20 women in a room?
They getting raped.
Especially when out of those 5 guys, one of them is a convicted or registered sex offender raping grown women, not kids, grown women.
So here's the point, man, that I'm trying to make, right? Is it possible? It's possible, but it's fucking highly improbable. And there's no statistics that support otherwise. None. You know where you most likely, according to the statistics I just looked up, you're most likely going to get fucking raped in college. So kids, don't go to college. That's where your daughter's most likely going to get that asshole up in fucking college. That's where. You know the next place? A kid is more likely to be raped in general population 4 times if they under the age of 18. And by somebody that you fucking know, that you associate with, that you vetted, and they looking at your kid trying to put dick in them. That's where rape's gonna fucking occur. 55% of women are raped by a nigga that they know. 55%.
That's crazy.
You know how many got raped? Sexually assaulted is what I had to look for to even find the damn statistic. Because there wasn't no real statistics on force rate. 7%. And I had to include children and women. 7%.
Yeah, it's not going to be force. I would go more with the grooming aspect. I call it the creep upper,
you know what
not the force.
And you know what church made up that high number? The Catholic Church. And
the Catholic Church. Yeah.
Yeah, I found something too, and it talked about the Catholic Church. About 1 in 10 say they have attended a place of worship where the clergy or religious leaders have been accused of sexual misconduct in the past 5 years.
Sure. The Roman Church, but that's like they're not really.
And extramarital affairs, 6%, sexual abuse of a child, 4%, verbal abuse, sexual assault, 4%.
So that's why it's possible, but it's just not fucking probable. It's just not highly probable. You're probably going to get raped at home or touched. A daycare and school is where you're going to end up getting really touched. School.
Mm-hmm.
That in college, that's where you're going to look at your force rate, drug-induced rate, all of that. Because you got no parents around.
There's no supervision.
No real supervision. Because the RA is just another college student. And if you cool with the RA, not only would they not tell, they will help you cover the shit up.
Facts.
Now it's gonna cost your ass when you get your damn school refund check. But if you don't want to go to prison, you better come off that 5 bands and be happy with it. Sign that check right on over, my boy. I'll go right now today to the police.
All right, real quick. Let's hop to the next part of the video, the next reaction part. 3655. All right, let's actually get it right this time, Clement. All right, 3655. Boom, look at that. 3650. We're gonna go there. We'll just go there. I don't care. Okay.
To be strong in the workplace or in life in general, that you would be attracted to what God is attracted to, not intimidated in any way by that. And so that's
what I meant, but I'm not sure that was clear. So,
well, and it's why it's great to have these conversations. And our hope is that you're going to go out and have these conversations together. And I would just recommend men listen. Because I think sometimes, in fact, I've talked to so many women, even preparing for this night, who said, I always have opinions, but I don't want to seem too strong. I don't want to be combative. I don't want to come off as prideful or arrogant. And I'm thinking, do you guys really just want duds? Like, what do you want? Like you want people that think and that have opinions and that have feelings and that will push you and that will make you better. And I'll tell you what, let me tell you where our marriage is now. We are so madly in love. I feel like you need to come up here and affirm this truth. I mean, I'm not kidding. I feel like our marriage, like I'm going to brag. I think every single one of you should aspire to the marriage I have because it is that good. My daughter, my 16-year-old is like, Mom, I need to go to counseling and because you all love each other too much. Like, that's what she wants to tell her counselor. I'm like, good luck. I'm sure they're going to feel very sorry for you. But we are madly in love. And you know why? Not because everything is easy. In fact, can you imagine these two really strong people married to each other? It's really messy, a lot. But it's because we are absolutely single-mindedly focused on building the kingdom of God together. And it is the most fun way to live. And we're not competing. And I look at all these movies right now. I mentioned this on Instagram recently. I'm watching movies and I'm thinking, why is every movie based on people that are cranky because someone in their family succeeded? You know, Incredibles 2. Like, there's all these movies right now that are coming out. And like, people are at home like crying because it could be a man or a woman or a child. And I had to post something because I was like, guys, family doesn't have to be that way. It could be that if somebody in your family wins, you feel like you all won because you were a part of it, literally. I mean, tonight, my daughter got, my youngest daughter got locked in the bathroom. And I think she might still be there because both of us are here.
She need to stop lying because she says she talked to a lot of women more than once. And based on what she said about, why women she didn't talk to no black woman because a black woman's response is different than what women she talked about she spoke to.
What do you mean?
She just said something that's like I talk to a lot of women all over the world, and based upon her response on certain things, I'm thinking in my head, no black woman would say some shit like that.
Can you
Yeah. Go back to the beginning of what she said at the beginning of the clip when she said she talked to a lot of women in regards to I forgot what she said specifically verbatim, but something she said and her response sounded something that a white woman would say, but not a
She
black
said, I
woman.
don't want to be too aggressive. I don't want to
Right,
see whatever,
right,
whatever.
exactly. And I don't know no black woman that's not aggressive or not combative or won't speak up or whatever. I mean, come on.
Where are we at? 36:55. All right. 36:55.
To be strong in the workplace or in life in general, that you would be attracted to what God is attracted to, not intimidated in any way by that. And so that's what I meant, but I'm not sure that that was clear. So.
Well, and it's why it's great to have these conversations. And our hope is that you're going to go out and have these conversations together. And I would just recommend men listen. Because I think sometimes, in fact, I've talked to so many women, even preparing for this night, who said, I always have opinions, but I don't want to seem too strong. I don't want to be combative. I don't want to come off as prideful or arrogant.
That's not a black woman talking.
Do you guys really just want duds? Like, what do you want? Like you want people that think and that have opinions and that.
No black woman is thinking like that on a large scale.
A lot of black women are starting to think like that because of the portrayal of the mean, angry black woman. So they trying to change their face. So a lot of the ones that's in, about the mid-30s backwards are starting to talk like that. And she's about that age group. She's about mid-30s backwards. She's probably about 36, 38, something like that. That's what I'm thinking. And they do think like that. Like they don't want that image. Like they're more mindful of that combative black woman image. So it's possible. It's possible.
I totally disagree because you have a gross majority of black women spending more time, like I was saying earlier about men saying, I'm a grown ass man. You have a lot of black women running around with this persona, I'm a strong black woman. And they're speaking up. So how the heck, that's a contradiction. You can't be scared. In other words, you can't be scared to speak up, but you have a lot of women that are throwing punches at dudes, standing up to dudes, talking like dudes. I mean, come on.
That's not a majority of women, though. That's not the majority of women.
It's just the media makes you think it's a majority of women, and it's not.
Yeah.
It's not. If you look at if you spend a lot of time on social media, you'll end up seeing that you'll think things are far worse than it actually is. Because when you move out, and it took me getting out the house. When I first started coming on the show, I was not getting out the house that much at all. Me and Clement had several conversations about this, right?
Facts.
And I thought the fucking world was ending tomorrow, nigga. It was so bad. But when I started to get out the house, I started to socialize again. I was like, oh shit.
Nothing's really changed.
So what you saying is when you came out the house, when you started coming out and seeing an open social setting, you actually start seeing more, or the majority of black women being more afraid to speak up and be more docile and more reserved in their tongue. Is that what you're saying?
I started to see that there were a lot of women, black women, who actually wanted to be married. They weren't acting like these motherfuckers portraying on social media. They were actually walking. They were walking and moving in their purpose, and they weren't doing all the head rolling and all that shit unless you provoke one of them. You provoke it, yeah, you might get that. But the educated ones, you're not gonna get that from. She'll put that mouthpiece on you, but she ain't gonna cuss at you.
Oh, I gotta get the hell out of New York then. Shit.
You do? Because I worked. I'm gonna tell you something. I worked with, when I was doing my clinicals, I worked in a facility. My first facility, mental health facility I worked in was Wellstone, and it is ran literally by blacks. Like, it's the only person who's really white there is like a couple of people in administration in the office and the CEO, but the COO is black. the head of HR is black, and the directors over each program are all black, and all the counselors and therapists are black except for one.
Mm-hmm.
And all of the house managers for the home is black, and then the director over at the lock facility was also black.
But
Like,
these are all black people in professional
all black
positions.
women in professional positions.
Yeah.
And they just don't, like, they move in their femininity when they're in the presence of a man, and they ain't coming across as harsh or
because
anything.
they're paid to, John. They're paid to. When you're making above 50K, 100K, yes, you have to act and play the part. But behind closed doors, when the lights are off, man, and you clock out, oh, Shanae's coming out. Don't let it fool you.
Wait, hold on. Let's drop the question then. Do strong women intimidate men? Do strong women intimidate men?
Nah, because not.
Depending on what kind of man you're talking about, because
I knew Carl was gonna say that. I should have said something.
The majority. Do strong women intimidate the majority of men? The majority.
No. They intimidate boys, but
I wouldn't say intimidate. I would say it would make them a little bit more nervous and conscientious, because if it's a man that has something to lose, yeah, that would scare the shit out of me, because who the hell wants a woman that can be a ticking time bomb and blow up your car and bust your windows out and come to your job acting crazy? You know, you don't know what you
Is that the definition of strong?
I knew you was gonna say something, because I was about to say something. I'm like, that is not
the definition of
strong. I'm
strong.
just gonna stop. Fuck, I ain't raising my hand no more tonight.
See, I think in this we have a very skewed view of strong, because a lot of times though, it's ghetto. But a lot of times nowadays, it's ghetto has taken over strong.
Right.
So if a woman is very crass, rude, all that stuff, then she's independent and strong. And that's why
no shit.
Yeah, exactly. And that's her just being a boss, her being strong, blah, blah, blah. And that's how it's viewed nowadays. That's why most men, if any woman just says, oh yeah, no, I'm pretty strong and I'm pretty independent, that's like red flags, instant red flags.
Right.
No guy ever wants to hear like his woman is strong.
Yeah, so, just like a woman, if you go to the DMV, there's always that one strong black woman that's a supervisor. She don't take no shit. Most of the workers are scared of her, and what she says goes.
Unique, what do you think? Hold on. Unique. Strong women intimidate men.
Nowadays, I feel like they do, because we don't really have a lot of men. Like most men act like women, and the women is acting like men. So a lot of the men are intimidated by somebody who's going to give their opinion, who's not going to let them talk to them any kind of way. They feel like they not being submissive if they speak up for themselves. So that's my definition of strong: having your opinion, standing your ground. And you could be strong and not be loud and ghetto. You could be strong in a silent way. So that's why I was like, define your definition of strong. I feel like they do intimidate men, and they do, and that's why we have a lot of single mothers, black mothers, because some of them are too strong and independent. Kind of go together sometimes. And if they hear that, like you said earlier, that's like a red flag to them. Oh no, you don't need me if you're strong like that. So yeah,
that's why I was saying I disagreed and contradicted with John, because it's too many women. If you ever take a bus, a subway, or even like I was saying before, on another lot about holding the door for a woman, they quick to be snappy, man. It's not no more this, oh thank you, drop the handkerchief. It's none of that docile shit, man.
You need to get out of New York.
It's not just New York. It's Philly. It's Atlanta. Where's this y'all talking about?
I never. No, the South. Come here.
No,
We don't do that. We
Just
don't
the
we don't act
suburbs.
like that.
Oh, the suburbs, yeah, I
The
can expect
suburbs
that.
and the rural areas are the best places to meet softer women. The cities are
Yeah, that I can see that. But
scary.
because most of these other places, the majority of these other places, man, the woman is quick to stand up. Like, you know, you can put the average black woman, I swear to God, you can put an average black woman around 10 black men. And when things hit the fan, she's probably the first one to stand up and be in the forefront. A lot of women are that strong in their nature or in their sense that they feel they have not just something to prove, but I can roll with the best of them. Women are not running behind the men. That's what I'm trying to get at. Women are taking lead. They're not running behind the men and saying, "Oh, you no." There was a time. Remember, there was a time when you was growing up that if there was a problem in school, you called your big brother, your big sister. Nowadays, you don't have to make no call. Let me tell you something. There's a lot of women I worry about today because they're the type that would pop off quicker than the dudes. You understand? If you're talking about your Hennessy, Cardi B, it doesn't matter if you get her or not. You have women that have no problem pulling out that gun or making the first swing or being the first one to pop off with the mouth.
I don't know. Yeah, that's
strong.
aggressive.
That is not strong.
But see, I think the label of strong, I think strong is just a bad word.
Yeah.
I think a lot of women, like, I get what this lady is trying to say. But I just don't think strong is a good word. It's kind of like how women don't like the word submission.
Mm-hmm.
Men don't like to hear the word strong attached to a woman.
It demasculates them.
No, it not that it demasculates them. It repulses. It repulses men.
Okay.
Because we hear strong and we already instantly get an image. Women hear
it's competitive.
Women hear submission and automatically get an image. And those are it's just strong is just not. I think if you said like we want our women to be confident, I think every man could get behind that. I'd want a confident.
Assertive? Would that be a fair word too?
Assertive? No. Assertive is a bit too aggressive.
No, I always said I like assertive better than aggressive. Because just because you're standing up for yourself don't mean you are overbearing. That's all I'm saying.
Assertive is aggressive. Confident is different though. You can be confident and quiet. You can be confident and outgoing. You can be confident and confidence can go in a whole bunch of different like assets that can be helpful to build with.
I thought assertive meant like take charge in the sense of not waiting for somebody else.
Right.
And
that's what I thought.
I don't think that
seeing something that needs to be done and taking the initiative to do it. That's what assertive means to me.
That's what I thought too.
I don't think most
assertive with the same word.
I don't think most men.
Aggressive and assertive are not the same word.
Yeah.
But they're both kind of masculine traits.
Synonyms.
Oh shit. Oh wow.
Yeah.
Like
assertive, I would definitely. Yeah, I agree with Chris. Assertive would fall more into masculine.
Yeah.
Okay, I just looked up the definition for assertive: having or showing a confident and forceful personality.
Forceful. There's your word right there.
Forceful.
Have confident in there too.
Yeah. So
Yeah. But that's like that's the third tier word. We're looking at that top tier. Forceful.
Oh. No
man ever said, damn, like, no, I love that woman because she's so forceful. Like, it's just.
I'm sorry, y'all. I'm the reason why I'm trying to learn this is because I'm big on this interdependency.
Independence, yeah.
So when I comprehend interdependency, I'm thinking that the assertiveness has to be in there. You get what I'm saying? Because otherwise, you're trying to put somebody to be codependent and docile and submissive, and you get what I'm saying? It's taken away from it.
I think that's a little bit of a problem that we see nowadays, that we think if you aren't confident, you can be confident and voice your opinion. If that person doesn't take it, then you just say, okay. You can know that you're right, and that person could still not take your opinion, and you could just be okay with it. You understand that you're right, but you're still going to support them.
Right. Okay.
You get what I'm saying? And that's all I'm saying. Like, you don't have to. Assertive would be like, I'm right. Like, well, I want to do this. Well, you're dumb. I'm right. Like, this is the way we should be doing it. And that just becomes a clash. That becomes a problem.
Now you're taking the forcefulness out of it, because now you're being a player, a co-player. Okay.
And that's what I'm saying. Confidence. Any man would love a woman that's confident. No. There's some that would want a non-confident woman, but a non-confident woman would probably be a lot more of a headache. Probably a lot because they're going to be constantly
a lot of affirmation, bro.
Way too much affirmation. You need to build them up every 2 seconds. It's too. You can't build together because you're working too hard to build them up every single day.
Which goes back to what the real word strong means. A strong woman is a woman who knows who she is. She accepts her position. She's willing to get behind you and stay with you through your failures and your successes. This is her ability to be resilient. That's fucking strong. Period. Not how loud she talks. Not if she's willing to pop off a pistol. I don't need you to do all that. Because at the end of the day, bro, I like my odds against Chuck versus you. Okay? I like me on that one. All right? Because if I'm not here, Chuck beats your ass. That's just, there's no around that.
The whole fact.
So let me ask you this. Let me ask y'all something. If the man has gone out to work, and the woman is at home taking care of the household. Now, remember, I'm codependency, interdependency, confident, assertive. Those are the words that I want y'all to keep in the forefront.
Okay.
Every time something goes down in the household, A, she's always calling the husband, apprising him of the situation, looking for direction, or B, she handles it without calling him and bugging him and every 5 minutes, every half hour. The plumber's here. She's able to manage without bugging your ear while you're at work.
I see a non-confident woman literally wouldn't be able to make a decision to get something done. A confident woman would make the decision. Might it be the best possible decision? No, but she can make a decision to keep everything still moving. She's going to make the best possible decision that she knows with her knowledge, with everything that she has, her ability. That's her confidence right there. And all of that goes into the decision that she's going to make. If she's not confident, then that's when you'll have her constantly in your ear, bugging you every 2 seconds.
And the only time that woman is going to call her husband if something comes up that's in conflict with the way he likes that house being ran. That's the only time she's going to call him. Other than
because I would think from a male standpoint, you don't want a liability where every little thing, daddy, baby, listen, man, you can't think for yourself. You can't do this. I mean, it's like I said, that's true. A manager.
A liability is also someone that's going to say, wait, baby, why'd you do it that way? Oh, well, I wanted to do it this way, but you knew that this way wouldn't work. I told you about, I kind of wanted to do it this way too, so we did it this way. That's also a liability, right?
I would think that a relationship is built on a man picking the right manager to run the shop. If that makes any sense.
To run the things that she's good at running. I think that's the big, that's why balance is necessarily conversations like these. Because I think you guys are on two very extreme ends. Each person in the relationship has the things that they're good at, right? Submission is accepting superiority or authority. And it's in that area, right? So if something's happening in my household, like let's say I need a nanny to come because I have to make a quick run. So I'm going to bring in the nanny so I can go to the grocery store or do something that I have to do without the kids. I'm not going to ask my husband if I can do that. right? But let's say the plumber is coming and he wants to know if I want this pipe or this new pipe. I'm like, I don't know. So I'm going to call him because he knows that stuff. He's an engineer. He understands that, right? And he would know why I'm calling him, and he'd probably be happy that I am because maybe he read something about some type of metal leak or something that they were having with certain types of pipes, right? The purpose of being in a marriage or the purpose of interdependency is that you understand that each of you have roles, that each of you have strengths, and each of you have weaknesses, right? And you're trying to balance those out. So
the better good, right?
Calling you all the time, but she also shouldn't be making every decision without you knowing, right? And that's a conversation that you have with your wife as to what each of your roles are, and you learn that as you're together, what each of you are stronger at. Like my fiance wouldn't make a certain financial decision probably without running it past me first because I have the expertise in finances, right? I wouldn't make a mechanical decision around my car or his car without him knowing first because that's where his expertise is, right? It's just about balance, right? Yes. I'm the manager of the house when he's gone, but it doesn't mean that I have to know everything. It's just like at work. Think about a job, right? When you hire someone on, even though they have a degree in that area, do you expect them to come in knowing how to do every single thing for that job? You still expect them to ask questions here and there. You expect them to have a base level of knowledge, but for little, like very specific things that are related to the career or whatever, they may not know. They don't have the experience in the area. So you're comfortable with them coming to you, but you don't want to be a hand holder, but you also don't want them to make a bunch of mistakes because they never think that they need to ask for help. It's all about balance.
You know something? Chris made a very beautiful. First, that was great, Chris. I really like that, and it made me think of a point that I want to go ahead and express while we're live, right? If you have a woman who says that this is some verbiage to a marriage that's gonna go south fast, right? You have your money and I have my money. You're not married because you're married, but you're not married. You have your bills, I have my bills. Again, you're not married. That's not married. That's a roommate.
Right.
If another thing is, I'm gonna go out and I'll buy whatever the fuck I want to buy because that's my money. So you're telling your backup that you'll just do whatever you want to do.
But they still got to be there for you.
A man or a woman. And people are like, yeah, what's wrong with that? So you this woman, you strong and independent. But what happens when your ass meet a drunk driver and you become dependent? And you done made all these financial decisions and your husband's income without yours because you no longer work. You're getting disability. Don't match your fucking lifestyle choice. Now what?
Or your boyfriend. Not even your husband. Your boyfriend.
Yeah, your boyfriend. This nigga that probably is about to bounce.
Right. I think sometimes also, I think, no, that was great. That was great. That was a great example, John.
I like that.
Running off of that, I think sometimes, in my opinion, women either understand that, okay, I have to do it all by myself or drop it all on my man to do it for me.
Or work together.
And I think a lot of times they miss the work together part. They a lot of times they don't understand that, like, listen, this man is not Superman. He's still got his own life that he's still trying to uphold, still trying to figure out, still trying to make work. If you guys come together and he can lighten some loads for you, you can lighten some loads for him. And that's how that interdependence can actually work. It's not that I'm going to come in and pay every single one of your bills. Like, listen, if I can help you manage money and I could help you out with this.
Budgeting,
I can help you out with budgeting.
Right.
Okay, but I need you to help me out with my lifestyle. I need you to help me out with, like, I'm a slob. I need to. Sometimes I don't have time, or I'm just not conscious about keeping my place clean, or buying the necessary amount of garbage bags because I always run out, or paper towels because I always, I do have enough towels, do I have enough this. Like, for two couples to actually work, I think sometimes women are too quick to try to, okay, if this man cannot take care of 100% of my lifestyle, then he's not worthy to be in my life.
So skip the training day and get straight to the benefits without the work, effort, and discipline to lead up to that. And that's why I always thought that a relationship prior to marriage is a training day or a training exercise towards learning interdependency. Actually, in my opinion, I think you should learn and know what interdependency is involved and what it is prior to even getting in a relationship. But for those that are stuck for some reason or for whatever excuses, that is your training period of interdependency. So that way, when you do decide to get married, now you have a good foot to lead off of. Just on some microwave shit ain't gonna make it. We already saw the outcome of that.
I'm glad you mentioned that, because let me tell you something, right? You know, the best way to learn interdependency and how to move with a female is to put your dick up and become friends with a female.
Oh shit.
If you can manage that friend, no, I'm serious. I'm serious as fuck. You ain't gonna learn to hang with your niggas. Which one of them is a fucking female?
No, he's absolutely right.
If you want to learn about a female, you gotta spend time with a female. If you want to learn about gorillas, nigga, you need to go to the Congo and get a tent and stay your ass out there with them. Because that's
I agree with you. I agree with you halfway on that too. Only because
learn how to be friends with a fucking woman. And I'm gonna tell you what you're gonna learn from that. One, you're gonna learn dick discipline.
Yep. Yeah. I was actually gonna say that.
You're gonna learn, because when she's friends with you, she gonna tell you what's wrong with you.
Mm-hmm.
She gonna dress you, because eventually y'all will become close. She gonna tell you what look good on you and what don't. She's gonna tell you if you fucking shut your bug ass mouth and just fucking listen to her, she gonna tell you everything that this woman gonna pick up on, because women think alike, bruh.
Yeah.
Right? So now your black ass is trained and armed. You've learned over the course of this relationship how to listen, how to sacrifice, how to be disciplined with your dick. You have learned a lot, and you've learned how to work with this female. You've learned how to work with this female. And it's great, because this is good practice, because you don't have that pressure of having to be a provider for her. You still have to be her protector when y'all out. That's just what the fuck you do. Period.
But isn't it supposed to be taught when you're a teenager or at least your early 20s?
You can get taught it, yeah, because I go over with my boys. But there's taught, and then there's you having to, like, I can teach my son how to drive a car, but you need that goddamn experience to
put it in practice, right?
Exactly. So now it's time for you to take what you learn and apply that shit to an actual female friend. And it needs
not wait till you're in your 40s to do it either.
No, you need to do it early on. Now, all my female, listen, I've always had female girlfriends. I've always had them, because I always wanted an older sister. I've had girlfriends, always kept them around me all the time. Nigga, it's so much I learned so much shit from them that it was pathetic. And that's why when I got older and I became, I was in the military, that's why my game was strong. It was tight, because I knew what signs to look for. I knew how to approach. We talked about all of this shit. And they would go to the club with me and be like, go tell her this. See that girl, she's looking at you. That girl ain't looking at me. Yes, the fuck she is. No, the fuck she ain't. She's drinking a drink. You didn't see when she glanced an ID.
Right.
Talk to her. Like, it's trying to get cussed out. Boy, stand up, be a man, go over there and talk to her, and you got her. Just go and talk to her with confidence, like you own this motherfucking place. Like, fuck it, I'll try it. And that shit worked, and it's been working ever since. and it all come from fucking being around women, just hanging out with them, putting my dick up, and not looking at them as trying to fuck her and conquer her, but being her friend.
Because I think every man has experienced, like you said, in line with dick discipline. Yeah, she's good looking, you fuck her, and then afterward, like you said, spending time around them, and you're like, damn, she was fuckable, but not something I can keep. She's not keepable. So now it's like buyer's remorse.
Yeah, so just have you a bunch of just even girls that like you can be attracted to them, right? But
I have a question.
Put it on the back burner. Yeah.
Since Carl was talking about this, how many women do you know that you've been friends with that you did not have sex with?
Oh, plenty. Even my best friend that died, Willie Mae. I mean, there was plenty of females that I've known right now today, the ones that are alive and ones that's not. I can say honestly, 10, 15, 20 years, we never looked at each other that way, and we've been the best friends. But remember now, we never put ourselves in a position for that to even take place. They never came to my house. I never came to theirs. We never went out on dates. We didn't do what is ideally what couples do. If we did see each other, it was always in a general sense or work-related sense or something like that.
I would say like.
So you never really had a real girlfriend, because if you only seen them at work and you just seen them in a crowd or you see them at a party or whatever, then that's not like a real girl as a friend. Because to me, a real girlfriend that you did not want to have sex with would have chilled at your house before. You would have gone to dinner with her. You would have gone to the movies with her. If you know what I'm saying, like what friends do.
Waste time together.
Yeah.
I didn't put like I said, Willie Mae was the closest and longest female friend I ever had. But remember, we spent 20 years on the job together. We retired a year apart from each other. She's been to my house. I've been to hers. I know her kids. She know my dad, all this stuff. But we never had, personal romantic time together. We never went out on dinner. We went out for dinner. We went out, but it was always a general sense. But never like a one-on-one personal space, like, hey, I'm taking you out to dinner or she's taking me out. We never did couple shit.
It is different. It's very different. It's very different when you move that way, though. It's very different.
Yeah,
I mean,
I only recently
started doing actually.
Wait. What John say? Wait.
I have fucked my girlfriends before.
Oh, I never did that. No.
Hey, they the ones who was teaching me all this shit, and I started applying it to them too. And there's shit. I guess one thing led to another.
I think it's important to highlight that. I think that's a good idea. If you want to learn more about women, talk to women. But I also think that nowadays men need more experience courting, like dating a woman. Like, I think discipline really comes from actually growing romantically interested with someone and then choosing to not sleep with them, right? Like not sleeping with someone because they're friend zoned. I think it's helpful, right? But I think men get a lot out of practicing how to date and how to court without necessarily expecting to sleep with someone. And women, the same thing. Women need to practice dating as well. And I think that that's one of the biggest issues amongst men and women right now is that they don't date, right? They think talking is a thing. They don't actually court and then say, we're not going to sleep together. I like you. You like me. We are romantically involved, but we're not sleeping together. And then practice just building general interest in that person before you actually sleep with them. I think that is a great way to learn how to be interdependent with a woman and actually practice it without being blinded by how good the sex is or how bad the sex is, right?
But you're challenging vulnerability though, Chris, because it became a business. What you just described has now become a business over the last 10 years. How to get more and give less.
So you have to have sex in order to get something out of the relationship?
No. You know what sex has become to a lot of people? It became the notary. to the interaction between each other. The sex became the notarized document right there.
I think men view sex as sport because we view women a lot more like game. The more I can get, the better I am. Now women are trying to compete with men and doing the same thing, and that's how sex is viewed as now. It's nothing. It's a handshake. I definitely agree with Chris a lot, because when two people learn to a guy courting a woman and suppressing that urge to want to sleep with them and actually taking this time to get to know her can now actually tell her, yo, your breath kind of stinks. Yo, what you do is kind of annoying. And now that woman actually gets to hear criticism for the first time in her life by someone who actually is interested in her, actually wants to sleep with her, but is willingly holding themselves back. Now she's like, okay, why is he on top of me? Why is he trying all these things? Instead, he's actually telling me, like, you know, my breath, that kind of does stink. And now you're different. You're very different to most other guys, because most other guys will suck up that bad breath. They'll suck up whatever else just to try to get with her.
I'm sorry, that sounds like a training day for simps.
It's huge for men to push past that wall.
Listen,
that sounds like an open door training session for simps, because you like a person, but you're trying to make sure they understand that you tell them, oh, I'm not trying to sleep with you. But you're taking them out, you're doing all this courting, and you don't even know if this person really likes you back. Because like I said, a person can tell you they like you and don't really just want to put up with you because of what they're getting from it or out of it.
A person can sleep with you and not like you too. That's where all women are right now. They sleep with you on the first date.
So that's why I said it's a challenge of vulnerability, because you don't know. Like I said, you don't even know if it's a man or woman. You don't know Jack.
No, that's putting a different argument. Don't.
1% people actually get the change, and 1% of the world is actually transgender. So more likely than not, you're going to actually run into a biological woman when you go out on a date.
Yep.
Unless you are only meeting women in clubs or in Las Vegas, most likely she has a V where there's supposed to be a V. And I understand the concern, but you can figure out if this woman is actually a woman without necessarily sleeping with her. Just like how you can figure out someone has HIV without sleeping with them.
Yeah.
And not to mention, Carl, somebody like, bro, and this is like giving you giving you doubt. I ain't gonna say your flowers. That's man, I ain't saying that shit. But that they ain't finna try you like that. You know what I'm saying, nigga? Like, you look like you'll put a motherfucker in his place real quick. Like, if motherfucker's gonna be kind of like nervous as shit that this nigga find out that I got a dick the same size as his. This nigga
Listen,
fucking ass.
I'm gonna be honest, John.
Yeah.
John, I'm gonna be honest with y'all, John. I've traveled in a lot of different places throughout the United States, and even of course, but mostly, bro. Today, and I really hold stand to it. Nothing surprises me, motherfuckers will try.
Listen.
Really, it is getting bolder.
This derailing the conversation. Let's bring it back. Because I think this is a very important topic that we are talking about, is that, like, both men and women learning to interact with each other without the idea of sex being the carrot in between.
Yeah.
Let me make sure I understand what you're saying. You're saying how much of the unknown are you going to allow so this can flourish?
Yes.
Yeah, like you need to.
There has to be some mystery involved.
Can I say something as far as like Carl saying that you're gonna be vulnerable to women if all you do is take them out, go places with them, and he's talking about the transaction of it. Yeah, I'm gonna let him give me some food.
Listen,
go on a date, just let him give me some food. But what I wanted to say to him is that you can tell if this is the person who's just trying to use you, or if this person is really your friend. Because if there's no like back and forth,
you can tell the conversation.
You paying, her doing stuff, you doing. If there's no, that's interdependence. That's if there's no reciprocation and you just constantly doing this, then you know that this person is just using you for what you giving them.
I am so glad you said that in wording just like that, because the first thing I thought about was pimps. How you are groomed. There are people that are, I wouldn't say professionally, but they're getting good at the gift of gab. They're getting good at manipulation, at every turns of life to make you conform or to make you go along with their program.
Woman and man, the average woman and man, the average man is not a pimp. The average woman is not a prostitute out here. I'm sorry. Like when
I said about the pimp, because remember, the pimp is going to approach you nice, gentle, kind, well-spoken. He's going to give you things and make you feel the most special motherfucker like your daddy did or whatever man that never did before. And just at the right moment, as he's grooming, bam, anime. You understand what I'm saying? And it's the same thing from a woman to a man. I like him. I'm going to rub his feet. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. And listen, the conversations, listen, as they say, words are cheap, but they're powerful. Because if you speak in the right language, if you trained yourself to be the best Cleo, remember Tarot Card Reader, if you work your language, your delivery, I'm telling you, people are trained to become a psychiatrist because they know what to say, how to say it, what tone. People work at this manipulative game.
Then observe them.
The majority of people do not, and that's what I'm trying to say. Like the majority of people are just not this cunning, this sly. A majority of men are boring. And you know what? You know what's actually really good? The majority of men are pretty damn boring. Like, so they think a date is like, okay, I'm going to take her to the movies and then we're going to go eat food. All of these things that involve her shutting up and not talking at all. So you don't actually even get to know who you're on a date with. And then after all that, they're like, okay, is she going to touch my penis now? Like that's a date. That's the average guy. So when you teach a guy to take sex off the table and start taking her out to places where you actually get to know her, now it's going to be a lot more on him to like, you know what? We can't go to the movies. Like I really can't afford that. Like let's go to the park or something like that. Does she want to go to the park with me? No, she doesn't want to go to the park. All right, well, she didn't really like me that much. Okay, on to the next person. She wants to go to the park. Cool. Let me actually get to know her now. Once you take sex off the table, you really start weeding out who it is. And now most guys aren't actually going to have that, oh man, can I actually talk to her? No, because you're not trying to sleep with them. You're just trying to see who this person actually is. So you're just going to start approaching them like they're a regular person, which they are.
I really wish y'all was around when I did a small poll and I said to a bunch of guys, how many dates will you continue with
before they gave him sex?
Until you draw the line and say, okay, you know what? Come on. We went out 10 times, 5 times. Well, what is your cutoff date before you say, okay, upgrade.com? The average man says 2 to 3 dates.
Can I give you
yeah, go ahead.
Let me say something that I already see as a red flag. You're already saying dates. So every time a man thinks date, they think there needs to be an end. There's an end. There's a carrot at the end.
There's an investment going on. So yes, when am I going to get my return?
Yeah. So if you're going to hang out with someone, if you go hang out with your boy, there's no carrot at the end. And that's how
the same thing.
No, it's not this. What are you getting?
How many times? Hold on. How many times is me and John going to hang out where I keep spinning before John says, listen, Shav, you don't have to get it tonight. I got this. There's a cutoff switch somewhere.
No, most of the time, if you guys are hanging out and that same night, it'll be like, okay, you get this one. All right, I got the next round.
Or common decency also says the person that
to this car show. You wanna come with me? This is for someone you want to hang out with.
You know what?
I get it.
Now that I need to do that how-to workshop, like for real. No. Okay,
John is good at this shit.
You damn right. I'm that dude you was describing. I'm that motherfucker. I'm him. I manipulate the shit out of whoever, men or women. I got the gift of gab, and I know it. I just put that bitch on ice. You understand?
And 6 months that me and John been hanging out, I've been spending, and we cool. Conversation, all of that. But John has never lifted a finger to say, "Yo, Shap, I got this." You understand what I'm saying? Because he has that gift of gab. Let me ask everybody in the panel so this way you can understand what I'm talking. Hold on. Let me ask this question. In your life right now, and this is a good exercise, name that one person that I don't care what the situation or where we at, every time you're around them, it costs you money. One person.
I don't have someone like that in my life. I don't keep people like that around. When I was younger, when I was young, yes.
That's a lie. I had a I had a girlfriend which was now my baby, which ended up being my baby mama. And she was the first woman that I waited past 24 hours to sleep with, the very first. Because other than that, I was getting pussy.
That's a long time, my friend. A whole 24 hours?
24 hours, wow.
Every time. It wasn't no fucking second thing. I'm hitting the first night, period. And I'm not going out with loose-ass girls. I'm going out with women, spending a lot of fucking time with them, getting to know them, and it puts them in that space to where they fucking want to. They want me just as much as I want them.
24 hours is a lot of time?
Say what?
I
I have never waited longer. Until Jay Rena, I had never waited longer than 24 hours to sleep with a fucking girl. It was never been a day.
24 hours a lot of time. You mean you spent time with them before that 20 hours you were waiting? Or
a day is 24 hours.
Okay.
I'm telling you, the average dude, the average black man said 3 to 5 days.
Next night would be 24 hours.
The average black man said that.
We can spend all day together. We done had sex before the next day at 9.
The average black man said during the poll last year, 3 to 5 days. If she didn't sleep with me then, she goes in the pile of the friend zone or whatever. He moves on.
But you wonder why the black community is so jacked up. Like you wonder why. Like this is.
I didn't make this up.
Really tell you why. Like in the black community, we literally cannot think past our dicks for 2 seconds, man. It's insane.
So you're saying 10, 15 hanging out.
What does that make me, a simp? I gotta walk around the beach with her. I gotta go on a hike with her. Does that make me a simp?
10, 15 dates and you still, man, listen.
And listen to her tell me some things about myself. What am I, a simp? Like that's the.
Okay, so here's the thing. So in the black community, then, based on what Carl's thought process, you might as well go out with prostitutes. You hitting right then, just
every single time.
$150.
That's extreme, John. That's extreme. What I'm saying is
that's exactly the same.
Process to listen to what I'm saying. Process to progress. Process to progress. If you're moving, just like driving, if you're doing 30. I'm doing 30, Chris is doing 40. We're moving at a pace towards a goal together, okay? But if we're driving at 30 miles an hour, all of us in here, okay? But Neek decides to say, listen, time is money. She's doing 60. She's trying to get to her destination. She's not trying to sightsee. And this is my point. Too many people, like what Clement is saying, want to take the sightseeing route. Bruh, my time is valuable. A lot of guys think their time is valuable.
Most people are trying to get married. Most people want children. And that route, you need to take the scenic route. You know what happens when you don't take the scenic route? You end up with a lot of baby mamas and a lot of baby daddies and a lot of single black families. That's exactly what happens when you try to take that fast route and not try to get to know them, sleep with them real quick. It's everywhere. It's everywhere already. And everyone is still like, no, this is the answer. they did it wrong, but I'm going to do the same exact thing they're going to do, and I'm going to get a different answer. It's insane. That's exactly what that is. That's insanity.
I'm stuck on finding out a year later, and I'm playing devil's advocate on purpose for a reason because I know,
I love it.
You know, who the hell want to wait 10 months, a year, 2 years down the line to find out you suck in the bed? You're great, Chris, as a person to be around, to go out with, but in the bedroom you suck.
You're not allowed to use me as an example anymore. I'm taking use me.
No, I'm just giving an example. It's just one of them things that when you invest your time, your energy, your money, whatever, into a person, and remember now, let's not escape the fact that this is a one-sided transaction because it's not the woman taking the men out and investing her money. She's investing her time. Hold on. She's investing her time. And I've heard women say, oh, but I get my hair and nails done. That costs money. Yes, I get that. But you got to do that regardless if you went out with me or not. The fact of the matter is the male is putting in a little bit more than a woman is in this whole process to progress on the unknown, too many unknowns of not knowing if this is going to flourish or not. Because according to Clement, we got to do this for X amount of time, get control, and to find out later, yo, man,
you're still missing the point. You're still missing the point.
Listen, I spoke on this way back. All right.
Early days.
Women do not choose the nigga. The nigga
yes,
chooses
I agree.
the woman. I'm gonna say this again for the people in the back. The women don't choose the nigga. The nigga chooses the woman. Quit thinking they choose you because they didn't choose you. Now, if anybody else out there looking and they got some game, they know exactly what the fuck I'm talking about. You understand what I'm telling you? You gotta make her desire to be with you, bro. Like it ain't just gonna happen because you spend some money. It don't work like that. You gotta be learning, you gotta be listening, you gotta be attentive, you gotta be aware, you gotta be that dude. So she can
a lot of responsibility.
Insert in her mind, seeing herself with you. Cause then you get the conversation, hey, what you doing? Oh shit, nothing. You got any plans? Girl, I ain't got no money. It's cool, boo. I got you. Oh, cause I want to see you so damn bad. I'm gonna bring my purse this time. That's how you get the motherfucker to take you out on a damn date. Because you're worth her effort. You are worth her sacrificing, bro.
For the record, I understand what Clement is saying and the whole dicker joke because I'm with him on that. But what I'm saying is you get to a point where she's throwing it at you. I get that. You don't have to work or invest or do much to get in her pants. She's throwing it at you because of your control, because of your willingness to invest without an expectation. I get it. You understand what I'm saying? But like I said, I'm playing devil's advocate because there are men out here that said, how long is too long?
You got the wrong mindset.
I didn't say, not my mindset. I'm just asking devil's advocate.
To those men, that's what I would say is you got the wrong mindset. Like that's like you are already thinking of a clock. You're already thinking how long till I get to that carrot. And that's the wrong mindset.
Yeah.
Even when you're in today's times where if you allow it, they'll run with it. Because you do have women that if you allow it, they will run that shit till the gas tank is empty.
Great.
So you don't allow it. You don't date them anymore. You don't court them anymore. You're in full control. If you feel like you're being taken advantage of, what do? You block them.
You cut them off.
You cut them off. Exactly. Like that's the beautiful thing about courting is that you're just done.
Chris, in a 5 year time period, 10 different women that you did that with.
Then you gotta look at yourself. There's something wrong with you.
Then there's something you doing.
Sorry, John.
No, you go ahead. Go ahead, Chris. Go ahead. You was making a point. I'm sorry.
Thanks. No worries. If you've been courting for 5 years and you have had no success and all the women have been taking advantage of you or you've been getting used, whatever, the problem is you and the way that you choose women. You're the common denominator.
And everything.
So now you know what y'all just did? The man that is following what Clement said, dick control, courting, gentlemen, so forth and so on. He's doing the right way, according to Clement. Just to find out later he's being played, used, manipulated, whatever, by a woman who has abundance of dudes coming at her in the same way. How many men in a day say you're beautiful?
So here's the thing. Here's what I would add on to that. You have the right mentality, but your execution is still wrong.
Woo! How long?
So you
I'm waiting. I'm waiting.
So you're thinking the right way now, but you're still moving as a okay, I still need to take her out and I still need to pay for everything. And then I'm just gonna sit there and listen to her the whole time. No. No. Why? You don't do that with your friends. You take every single one of your friends out and pay for every single one of them. Everything. No. Honestly, most of the time, both of you are trying to find ways. The average person is still broke. Both of you guys are always trying to find ways to save money. So go on cheaper dates. Date within your financial range.
Right.
Go anything that actually costs money. Find a lot more free things to do. The average man is boring as crap. They don't do anything. If anything, going around this route, they'll actually make their lives a lot more interesting because now they'll say, oh, we can, I now notice that my town is having this carnival and that's something free to do. Something exciting. Get both of you out of the house. And now that's something you could do. That costs you nothing. Very little.
Okay. And you've done that with 3 to 10 different women in the course of a span of a time. Now this is what Chris says. This is what Chris said. Now you're blaming him and saying there's something wrong with him.
No. Now, what have you learned about those 3 to 10 different women? Because
they all enjoyed the ride.
If you went out with those 3 to 10 different women, everyone has something interesting about them. Everyone has something that they're doing, they're trying to do, they're interested in learning from.
You learn from.
Everyone has that. So now you're going out with 3 to 10 different people, and you really haven't learned a single thing from 3 to 10 different women. I would say you're not listening. I would say you're not actually interested. And that's where I would blame the guy, because then you're, 3 to 10 different people you met, and nothing you retained from any of them. Come on, man.
Remember, guys, interpretation varies from person to person. And I always said, just because I hear you, don't mean I comprehend you. So it's like a dyslexic person. I can hear you, but I can't read. I hear you, but I don't comprehend you. So everybody's interpretation of like as a man, the interpretation I get from Chris's response or Neek's response or Sally's response, I may think this way, but in reality, its translation to mean this. Is my interpretation.
I got a question for Carl. Carl, there's a woman who she's really beautiful, right? And she tells her girlfriend, "Hey, Carl kind of cute." Oh, Carl, Carl, you kind of cute, man. I like the old salt and pepper beard he got, man. I like a down rough around the edges, nigga. Like, for real, yeah. Well, I'm gonna tell him, and you decide to go out with her. So. Where would be a date that you would take her, and what's 3 talking points?
Me personally, coffee and conversation.
This your first date?
Coffee and conversation.
Okay, what's your 3 talking points about you? What are 3 things that you would like for her to know about you?
I want her to know the consistency, the stability, and everything that revolves around consistency, stability, and flexibility.
Why?
Because if you're thinking about anything long term, those are the strong points that you should have, that you should be looking for in a man.
All right.
If you're talking about security, consistency, and longevity, those are the 3 points that you should home in on.
Now, would you just state those 3 points and then start talking about them, or would you give her a life example that demonstrated that?
No, I start talking about things. The conversation would be geared around how long I've had my cell number, life insurance, things of importance that has to do with what couples do and need in a long-term thinking. In other words, my conversation would be about long-term thinking, not just right now, just having fun and getting our nuts off.
And what's 3 questions you would ask her?
How long she had a cell number.
And what else?
I would talk about things like life insurance and credit scores and things of that nature, things of a stability nature.
All right. So let me ask you this. Why wouldn't you tell her about some of the people that you've provided security work for?
Irrelevant.
Yeah, it's very relevant because it separates you from that nigga who told her she looked good before she got there.
No, you know why? Because I don't want to have a false impression, because like I said, I don't want to give her the impression that I'm leading with my popularity or let somebody else's shadow. No, because I'm an individual before you go to who I bodyguarded. You understand? Yeah, I know so-and-so, and I could call them on my phone and, so-and-so been in my house.
Hold on. It's all about how you word it. You could just tell her you in executive protection. That's going to prompt a question. And then she asks another question. You shaking your head. But see, that's the difference between a person who this shit is easy and it's like real cake for me versus somebody who is saying I wouldn't do that. This is a simp thing, because it's not a simp thing. Remember when you made that statement? I'm not picking on you. Just want you to know that.
No,
remember
I got you.
You made that statement that how many niggas told her you beautiful, right?
Right. That becomes annoying after a while.
Yeah, they know it, but women like to hear it from one motherfucker more than me.
Right.
So what
the way he says it, right?
What I'm trying to tell you, not the way he said it, because of who the fuck this nigga is.
Okay.
A man who I have the uncanny ability to separate my fucking self from the pack.
Okay.
You understand?
Well, I could do that easily.
Niggas done walk through here and talk to this motherfucker, and she dissed all of them, but then she's over there laughing it up with me because she knows that I've been to 25 different countries. She knows that I speak multiple languages. She knows this shit. She knows but see, I speak to her because I let her know this shit. And now I'm interesting. I'm somebody to learn from, grow with. Now, guess what she's thinking, Carl? I bet if I go to one of them goddamn countries with this nigga, I'm gonna have a fucking ball. She also knows, Carl, that she would have to be in a committed relationship for me to invite her to one of them motherfucking countries. So guess what she's thinking, Carl? What would it like to be my fucking girlfriend, Carl? That's what she's thinking, Carl. That's what she's thinking. And if she's thinking that way, that's what I want. Because now when that other nigga come by when I go to the bathroom, she gonna be like, what? She finna run this motherfucker off. Because I'm interested and he's fucking boring. And she wants to go with Mr. Interesting. That's all I was saying. Like you
it can be, but see, John, it can be, you know, I understand what you're saying, but it can be, you can set yourself up for failure too, because give me an example. Neat likes me, but she's also a New Edition fan, and she knows I do New Edition. So I'm gonna play him close just so I can get backstage to get near New Edition. See how it can backfire? So I'm not with him because I want to be with him. I'm being with him because I'm.
You don't have to tell him all that.
But see, this is why anytime I've been around women, I've always said I'm an adult babysitter. I downplay it in a joking manner because I don't want that to be the highlight of me. I want me to be the highlight of me. So this is what I've always said. How many men do you know right now that are single, employed, no kids, lives alone, loves to cook, very affectionate? Right now. That's it.
But
that separates the pack because not too many black men fit that all those criteria.
But this is how women think. You got all of that. Why the fuck are you single?
Why are you single?
See, again,
and they're gonna think this nigga must be abusive, crazy, jealous as fuck, and I ain't.
This is an assumption now. See, like I said,
I'm playing
this is what make isolation better for me, because now it says to me you're not the one, because if the first thing you go to is a negative instead of the positive of it, it doesn't have to be something wrong with the person. Maybe that person has trained their life to be a certain way to be qualified, as opposed to what's wrong with him. Ain't nothing wrong with him. He just spends a lot of time making sure he's qualified. So when he does get with that right person, bam, there's nothing holding him back. There's no child support. There's no baby mama drama. There's no, you understand what I'm saying? He's not the average. He's not the average.
What you saying, but when you dealing, if I was to have to fight somebody, right? I'm gonna think about how does this nigga standing, whether he left-handed, right-handed. Is he rounded? Do this nigga got cauliflower ears? It means he got cauliflower ears. Might have to get on the ground with this nigga. Like I don't size this nigga all the way to fuck up. You feel me? But when you dealing with a woman, you gotta size her all the way to fuck up too, because she's sizing you all the way to fuck up too.
But again, misdirection, John. Misdirection. A lot of times, remember, you only know what you know. You don't know what you don't know. And that is a very slippy slope right there, because you already sized me up and assumed, oh, he's 6'2", he's 250, he can fight. That nigga's softer than baby shit. You get what I'm saying?
Maybe.
It's an assumption. There's a lot of women out here that got with tall, big guys and found out when shit hit the fan, he's the first one to run.
Nah, that's what I'm saying. I'm not looking at that. I'm looking at other shit.
I'm just saying.
Dude, he could do some damage just falling.
I'm just saying in the concept of what we think we know, what we can assume, and what we think we comprehend, and like I said, misdirection. You understand what I'm saying? We think this, and come to find out we was wrong. It happens all the time. And I could size somebody up to be, I size Chris as being quiet, docile, polite, da-da-da. And then behind closed doors, she is a tarantula with her mouth.
I thought you weren't using examples anymore.
I have to, because like I said, we have what we think of a person versus what we find out after being around them.
Let me ask you this real quick. What is Chris thinking right now? Before she started smiling, what was she thinking?
Chris is a multitasker, so that's hard for me to size up.
It's easy for me. Is she in agreement with some of what you're saying or not?
Oh, no, she's not in agreement with what I'm saying.
And how could you tell that by looking at her? How could you tell?
Because she's waiting to chime in so she can give her point.
Chime in so she can do a rebuttal. But if you look at her eyes and her posture and the way she was moving her head left to right, that she didn't agree with a lot. Her head.
She don't agree, but she But see, this is the thing though, misdirection. She may not agree, but she understands.
She understands what you're saying, but I don't think she's going to agree with you. But we're about to find out.
Spotlight's on you.
Go ahead.
Come on, Chris. Decide and vote.
No, I don't. I actually don't get it, to be honest. I don't understand. But I'm still, this is the issue. The problem is, what I don't understand is how we can go through this.
Damn, you couldn't give me a penny. I thought you understood at least. But
hold on, Carl.
It's not a bad thing. What I don't understand, like there are things in there that I did understand, right? Like being taken advantage of, being used. What I don't understand is how so many men think that sex is a solution, right? Yeah, like in order for me to not be used, we have to sleep together, right? In order for me to mitigate all of this risk, we have to be sleeping together, right? That is what doesn't make any sense to me. And the reason why it doesn't make any sense is because I understand.
I get it. I get what you're saying now. Now I get it. You thinking that a man can only feel that he gained some leeway because he slept with the chick. Well, guess what? Women are saying the same thing. He's not taking me out, so I'm not going to entertain him. If the more he does this for me, gives me a feeling of it's okay. You ever seen them women that says, he took me out. Hold on, John, because you can relate to this. In theory, the woman got taken out 3 times, right? And she slept with the dude.
Sorry, I can't do that.
And now, even if things go bad, south, or doesn't work out, she can sit there and say, well, at least he spent money on me. It wasn't a total loss because you got something out of it. And that's where men are standing up and saying, wait a minute, if I invested, what did I get out of it? Even if it don't work out, what did I get out of it? What did I lose? Well, at least I got something out the deal. It wasn't all for nothing. That's the difference. Because women do it all the time. They've been out on dates with dudes, never slept with them, and say, oh, well, at least he took me out. That's why I gave him some. Come on.
But
it wasn't for nothing.
But Carl, we cannot move like this. That younger generation is depending on men like me and you to show them the proper way. And we don't move like women. And women can't, they think they can move like us and they can't move like us. Like they just can't. And
the younger generation, John, ain't listening to us because they're doing it differently. Totally different. They get some weed, some Henny, and that's it. It ain't no Netflix and chill. I got Henny, I got weed and Henny and come crib, and that's it. Matter of fact, meet me at the trap house.
The young man that I personally mentor, that I talk to on a very personal level, okay, they get involved in serious committed relationships. They tighten up on their job. They get their credit in order. They get closer to God, and they give me they reach out to me and they tell me thank you because I completely abolished this whole new mentality and tell them you don't have to move like the rest of the world.
Right. You block them from being followers.
Ain't shit changed. Women still like men and men still like women, but the method is got to change. The methodology in which we interact with females has got to change. It's like I said earlier, and it's not an extreme, Carl. If you want something out of it and that's really all you looking for, there's no difference than a nigga going out here buying. Matter of fact, it's more expensive than a nigga going out here dressing up in order to win the coochie at the end of the night, thinking that's what it is. Women are not visual creatures like that, and it's going to be about how you move, what kind of swagger you have, what kind of conversation piece do you have? Can I relate to you? Are you relatable? Are you intelligent? Are you possibly a provider or something? That's how you're going to get in the panties, bro. But if you ain't trying to work for that, then get you a damn escort. Call her up, pay $150, go in some damn sweat, go take a shower, get on sweatpants and a t-shirt because she don't give a damn what you look like. You just need that cash out, and then go get you some cootie and have a meaningless night, and go back to the crib alone and keep, because you saying, what if they take advantage of me? What? You see what I'm saying?
No, I got what you're saying.
It can't be like that, bro. Like at some point, we have got to put our dick thoughts aside and really get to know who the fuck this woman is in these opportunities, because if you speed into a relationship, if you speed forward, right, then you're gonna have a clouded judgment. You understand? Like the woman will tell you, a woman is an open fucking book. All you got to do is ask the right questions. All you got to do is let them know that you listen, and she will talk your fucking head off the rest of the night. She'll tell you everything from what she dreamed about when she was 8 all the way up to every traumatic experience she ever had. And you're learning, do you want this woman? Because you may not choose to ask her out on the second date. You may choose, but if all you're thinking about is thinking with your dick, you're not asking the right questions. You're not moving but one way, and that is toward that fucking pussy.
But that's the misconception.
Wait.
Hold on, real quick. This is the misconception. A lot of people think that's the highlight. That's not the highlight.
Carl, that's the last. That's the.
Oh,
we're way past our time, my friend. I'm sorry.
Oh, damn.
All right, but I know the humor died, so we know it's way past that. It's way past that time. But let's close out our usual way.
Yay! Yeah.
This is a good conversation. Carl, I appreciate you.
Bro. I had every intention of leaving early, and I just couldn't do it.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
I had every
I'm
intention
sorry.
of had 2 hours, but here we are.
I'm gonna tell you something right now. I was taken aback from when I came on with the glasses. I don't know if the bow tie is on or not, and the hairstyle you changed up. Oh, okay. I couldn't see it because I saw something red. But I said, yo, he really changed up. Like, what the fuck?
I'll shock you guys in a couple weeks. Right?
Oh shit!
You might be shocked. Right?
I cut my beard off, so I'm happy today.
Huh?
You gonna grow you some dreads?
Dreads? No, I don't. I don't do dreads.
Uh-oh.
But you know, you'll be surprised.
Okay, I'm gonna be surprised. This nigga gonna show up like Genuine.
I'm gonna go put on my wig right now.
All right, let's close out. We got the doctor.
Hey, we had a really good conversation tonight. Make sure you hit that like button, subscribe, and share. You know, you can always find me here or hit me up on IG at behavior_consultant on IG. Or you can always find me on Tuesdays at 8:30 Central, 7:30 Central, 8:30 Eastern. Peace.
It's so weird without the sound effects.
I swear to God, it is.
Hi everyone, my name is Chris. I have a channel called, and I also have an Instagram at the Blooming Ebony. I hope you guys enjoyed the show. I'm trying to think if I have any like advice. After that, I'm kind of lost for words, to be honest. I would say if you can practice courting, practice dating, practice makes perfect. You can't expect to be. If money concerns you, there are plenty of free ways to date. So I wish you guys all the best in your dating journey, and I hope to see you back here next time. Have a good night.
We got Neek is the night.
Maybe. We'll know who's behind door number 1.
I'll give it 3. I'll give it 5. What was it? 5, 4.
No, give it 10. Give it 10. Give it 10.
10. That 10's a long time, my friend. 10's a long time. All right, we're gonna switch to Carl, who's not there because I heard his door opening.
Oh, I'm here.
We got Carl.
Blood fire, what man? Blood, you like me dreads, man.
Why go on me youth?
Why me youth, you know? No, right. No, very good night, very good conversation. And like I said, I like to play devil's advocate because there's somebody out there that's thinking and asking those same questions. You never know. And each one teach one. And like I said, we're a phenomenal panel here because we have different backgrounds, different mindsets, but at the same time, we're all professional at what we do and what we say, and we've been doing this a long time. So salute to everybody on the panel, salute to the podcast, and hey, I hope everybody could take something from this. Call CashApp on Instagram. And, you know, we'll be here every 8:30, every Tuesday, 8:30, ready to go. Take your turns.
Beautiful.
Go back to Yannick.
Yeah. Gets her turn back. And we got Neek is the night.
Why do I hear crickets in my head?
That's good.
Neek!
My man really went out. You went out and got.
Well, on behalf of Neek, she's Three Married Ladies' Opinions on her podcast, and she also can be found on Instagram. Okay, Neek, and she's a very, very busy lady. I hope she gets the proper sleep, and she does a lot. And she's definitely responsible for keeping up with our comments and things behind the scene administratively. So, salute to Neek.
We definitely all appreciate her. And on that note, thank you for watching and love you all. We'll catch you back.
Yeah.
Peace.
Peace.
if